Welcome, everybody. This is the Friday night Stunthangar video hangout. I'm Rusty, and from Stunthangar Control Line Forums. Welcome, everybody, people all around the world, hopefully. And it's Friday, January 25th, and we're slowly marching through winter in our hemisphere of the world, and hopefully get some warm weather coming. Look forward to flying. Meanwhile, we'll talk about flying. So. We're here with both the video, which you can access if you're a member of Stunthangar Control Line Forums and logged in. You can go to the live streams / at the bench thread and find the latest post with the link to the video chat in it. And you can also go to the Stunthangar YouTube channel and see it and watch it with the chat box, the text chat box. If you want to communicate via text, you can, or if you want to just lurk, that's fine too. And if you're in the chat box, sometimes it's hard to find on telephones. It's better if you're on a PC or a tablet, but hold your phone vertical, scroll down, look for comments, and usually you can find the chat box under comments. If you can't find it, probably can't help you, but there might be somebody on here who can. So anyway, welcome. And if you're in the chat box, there's a block $sign at the bottom. That's what we call the super chat, and that's how you can make a contribution to the show to help Sparky keep up with server fees and equipment. He's always getting better equipment so that he can go to places like the Nats and make videos, do interviews, and building planes and tutorials on his Stunthangar channel. So if you do that, we'd appreciate it. And a little bit of that gets to me too. So good for my hobby budget, and we appreciate that. And there's more of you folks on YouTube usually than there are in here watching on video in the live feed. So y'all are a great knowledge base out there, and I've been encouraging my video visitors to watch the YouTube text feed too, so we can incorporate your questions and answers and comments into our conversation, and you can chat amongst yourselves as well. So, hope everybody can have fun doing that. And one thing I'd like to say too, and now and then it's time to mention it, is this video feed is a system where whoever makes the most noise gets priority on the video, and they get the big picture with whatever they're showing, or their face when they're talking. And it's not like on the telephone where it's full duplex where both people can talk at the same time. This is more like half duplex where whoever makes the most noise wins. So be aware of our etiquette with this type of situation, and make sure that you're not stepping on anybody else when you talk, and make sure and take turns the best you can. It's not always possible, but when more people start talking at the same time, you can't understand because the system gets confused, tries to switch back and forth. So just try to be aware of that. And so with that said, we'll proceed. It is there are 9 viewers watching us right now. Jack Snavely and Stingray are on. Stingray, Chris, I think. I think I'm right there. Stingray. Jack Snavely says, hey, great to see you. And listen, thanks for the videos and the hobby tips. That's what we're here for. Like to see how everybody gets the job done, because there's lots of ways to get to the same place when you're building. Everybody's got different skill sets, different tool sets, and has different ways of using all that to get to the same end result, which is hopefully a good flying model. And looks like Frank Donnelly is joining me, so let me click the approval button and let Franco in. Good evening, Frank. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, Rusty. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Did you get my email or my phone call?
I did. Yeah, I got both. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry I hadn't gotten back with you,
Oh,
but
no, no. I
anyway,
appreciate the offer for all that stuff. Believe me.
you're welcome. I got a little panicky when I started realizing Texas Timers has quit selling some of the things that we need, like those spray bars. And so I went ahead and ordered more of the orange lure lock tips for the syringes, and about 4 more feet of bladder tube, and a bunch of the feed plugs that feed the fuel to the engine from the bladder. And I don't want to run out, because I give those away fairly often when people need need equipment. They're trying to get started with bladders, and man, we got a scratchy sounding background, don't we? Hang on, let me let
Yeah,
Sparky
really.
in. Let me let Sparky in. He's sitting here watching me talk. There we go. But anyway, yeah, that's all right. That leaves more for me, and I'll be able to give them to whoever needs
Well,
them.
they actually just came today. I got an order from Texas Timer with all those fittings, and my Norvell engine arrived. That's NV Big Mig came today too.
Oh, cool. My Texas Timers package came today too. I was just fiddling with it, opening it up. I hadn't. I've been out for so long. I hadn't gotten much airmail, and so I was all excited to get some airmail in the box. I see we got American Bulldog Rocky out there. Hey, Bulldog. He's a frequent watcher, and never come in live with us. Not that I know of, anyway. And Mike Lank is here. Hey, Mike, how you doing tonight?
Hey, don't Mike.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Rusty. I'm getting a lot of chatter on your mic, Rusty, when you talk.
Yeah, and it goes away when I quit talking too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Am I doing the same?
I think so. Let me let y'all talk to each other for a minute, and I'll just watch and see if it keeps doing it.
Say something, Frank.
Well, actually, I could hear an echo when you were speaking.
Okay. Well, your voice is clear as a bell. I can hear you just fine. There's just like a little bit of garble after Rusty talks. How about you?
Okay, I'm just now hearing what I said a few minutes ago.
Hello.
Well, hey, Sparky.
How about me?
Yeah, I hear a little chatter after you talk too. Frank, if you're hearing a long delay, then are you sure you don't have a tab open in the background with the YouTube going?
Let me check. Maybe I do.
I mean, you're loud and clear, though, Frank. Your voice is loud and clear with no garble or anything.
I did. How's it? Does it sound any better now?
Yeah.
Your sound was fine.
Okay.
How about now for me?
Yeah, it cleared up.
Do I have any bells in here? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can
hear you.
We can hear you. It kind of sounds like you're in a little bit of a tin can, though, but I think that's probably because you're far away from your microphone.
I'll look at my settings. I hadn't changed anything lately. Well, let's try to proceed and see how it goes. Sometimes it clears up by itself.
Okay. What are you working on, Sparky?
Movie stuff. I'm working on movie stuff.
Movie stuff. Okay.
Yeah, got getting my camera gear ready to go. I'll show you what I got here. Overhead mic, teleprompter. This is the recorder. Bunch of shit.
Holy cow, man! You making feature films with all that stuff?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, that's his other main hobby, I think. I guess my other one would be saltwater fishing. I'm hoping I'll be able to do some of that this summer too.
I got a monitor here, and lights and green screen and all kind of crap.
Yeah, even a couple of years ago, I remember you doing some setups that looked like real news broadcasts with a big screen behind you with action shots when you were doing your intros and doing your interviews. That was all pretty cool with the green screen.
It takes a lot of work. The Nobler design video was shot in front of a green screen.
Hey, Rusty, your trophy just moved behind you on the wall.
Yeah.
The Hunter's trophy just slipped down.
Oh.
I was watching it, and it started going and going, and then it dropped all. I was like, what the hell's going on?
It's pulling into a loop. That's funny. It slipped down the other day, and I noticed it, and I cocked it back up, and I guess its elevator's got a little too much up in it. I need to work on that, tighten it up. I got about 3 or 4 more of those out in the shop. I ought to put them in a big loop anyway, or something. Those cheesy old airplanes.
Those are the coolest trophies anywhere, man. I like them.
They're all right. I used to call them phallic symbols, phallic trophies. But anyway, I'll leave it like that. I kind of like it.
So, Frank, you got some goodies for Texas Timers? You got an engine and some ladder material and stuff?
Yeah, I got everything I need. The only thing I need to figure out, I've got an old custom Kerncraft 128 thread needle assembly, but I need to be able to pull out the spray bar out of that thing, and I guess I need to find like a 128 thread screw or something to put in there so that I can pull it out. Actually, I don't know if you can see it. That shows up. Got a bent needle valve.
Yeah.
But I don't need the needle. I got plenty of those. I just need to get
putting a steel screw in there and pulling that brass spray bar out too. I guess if you screw it way in, maybe it'll come.
I've got one of those as well. Let me show you what the guy did with the one I have.
So do you need to heat that up or anything, or that'll just pull out if you get enough pressure on there with a claw hammer?
I think if you just do it cold, it would be all right.
Yeah. I'll give it a try.
If you heat anything up, you try to heat the holding fixture up and let it grow and pull the spray bar out easier if my thermodynamics are right on that.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Just get a beater.
Get a what?
A beater.
A beater.
So you're wanting to actually take the spray bar out of that collet, right?
Right.
So that you can put the whole assembly back in the case?
Correct.
Okay, so this is one that I've got, and what the guy did was where the venturi hole was, he just soldered a piece of brass tubing on it and then turned this into a remote needle.
Ah.
So this is just a remote that you can, just screw onto the side of the airplane. There's your fuel inlet. There's your fuel outlet because it comes off the spray bar. And then run a nozzle in the venturi instead of.
Oh, okay.
That way you can get the needle away from the front of the engine, from the crank and all that. Because when you stuff them, when you got them in there in the venturi and you stuff them, you're gonna break that. So this is what a lot of guys do. They turn them into a remote.
Okay.
That's quick and simple. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I wish I had about 10 of these.
Yeah, me too. I got 2 or 3 of them, and they're all on planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got another 2 of them. So, and they have straight needles in them. So I can experiment with that. See if I can solder a brass tube on there. Yeah, it's a good idea.
What's your flying background, Frank? What have you done the most type of control line with?
Well, I started flying control line when I was like 11 years old, and I guess I flew through my teenage years, and then went in the service and got in the RC and never went back. I didn't start flying control line again until about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's been all RC. It's been mostly for about 15, 18 years. I flew nothing but pylon racing. So yeah, but I am really enjoying the whole control line thing. I'm sorry I didn't get back into it 30 years ago.
What
Pylon racing is
kind of
awesome.
pylon racing were you doing?
I flew Quickie 500, and there's a couple different classes, 424 and 428. I almost got in the quarter 40s, bought the plane and all, but I didn't really have a good enough field to practice flying off of. I didn't have a hard top to fly off of.
Yeah.
And I flew, that's where all this stuff came from, this half A stuff. I flew some half A pylon racing for a few years.
John Gibson is a combat guy. He flew a lot of pylon, and he flew the quarter 40 stuff.
Yeah, Q40.
All the
You
Nelson.
search for John
Nelson
Gibson
40s.
Q40. He's got some
Yeah.
videos up.
Well,
Well, I got several Nelson 40s around. One was brand new, never run, that I was going to put in a quarter 40. And
a couple I saw went for over $400 a piece on eBay.
man, I can believe it. I paid over 400 for this when I bought it new.
Yeah. Hey, Rusty, John has sold most of his equipment, from what I understand.
I figured he probably had. I've been meaning to call him. I was calling him about every month up until December, and it's been since then.
I just talked to Howard or yesterday, and John is pretty much, he's bedridden now. He probably won't ever leave his bed again. And,
yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
He sold off damn near all of his airplane, all his combat stuff, and all his pylon stuff, all his engines, all that stuff is gone. I mean, he's got cancer metastasized around his spine, and it's in all his organs and everything. So
he's a tough old guy. He was trying to hang in there, but it just took him over.
Yeah,
that's sad. He was one of the first people I really got to know when I joined the control line gang and the Carolina gang.
Yeah, me too. The first time I went to a combat contest there, I met John, and then I used to see him. His Julian field where they flew the pylon stuff in Julian, North Carolina, that was like 3 miles away from my mother-in-law's house. So every time I would go visit my mother-in-law, I would meet John out there, and we'd either fly control line or he'd have some pylon stuff and be farting around. I went out there and watched several races out there, several contests they had in Julian. And that was the first time I was ever around Q40 RC pylon. Holy cow, man.
That's a serious sport, boy.
206 miles an hour around the track.
Yeah.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Turn your mic down a little bit. You're over modulating. Just
okay. Hang on and let me get to it.
Yeah, that Julian, I've been there, flew a couple of races there. That's a really nice field. That specifically set up. They got the start area and.
Well, they got bought out and they moved. There's a new field now.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah, they got booted out of Julian a couple of years ago. A company wanted the land. I forget what it was for, but they bought the property and made a deal with the owner. The owner just said, "Listen, I want another chunk of dirt. And I want a runway just like this, and it's got to be clear and flat and this size and this long a runway." And they did it. That was contingent on the sale of the land. So basically they copied Julian in another place that's only like 15 miles away. I don't know the name of the town, but it's only 15 or 20 miles from the old Julian airport. But they don't fly at the Julian place anymore. They're out at the new one. And supposedly it's a world-class pylon place because they did some tweaks to it, since they were getting a new place.
Yeah, I think they added computerized lap counters and all kinds of things like that. So it took away the human element where somebody was standing out there counting your laps for each plane. It's pretty neat.
Testing. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4. What does my mic sound like now?
Sounds much better.
Much better? Okay, good.
It's all your fault, Rusty. It was on your...
Must have been. Okay. I'll leave it like this. Does it sound good?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. All right, carry on.
All right. So, do you have any plans for those Nelsons? Are you ever going to fly Q40 or?
No, I'll never fly Q40. I'm going to hold on to the Nelsons I had for Quickie. They became obsolete too because at some point they went to a long stroke motor, and these are all short strokes.
Okay.
But I mean, when I flew, it didn't seem to make a heck of a lot of difference to me. I was still able to keep up and hang in there with the long strokes. The long strokes, maybe they were better, but it seemed to me those guys had a heck of a time getting them started, keeping them running on the line before the flag dropped. But I guess in the long run they must have been better because I've been out of it now for 6 years, 7 years, so I don't know what they're doing. But no, the quarter 40, I'm thinking I'm happy to unload that somewhere if anybody ever wanted it.
Yeah, they sell on eBay. I see them come up. Actually, I've seen quite a few Nelson 40s just in the last 2 years. I've probably seen 6 or 7 of them come up on eBay because I'm always looking for Nelson 36s on eBay when I type them up, and there's always Pylon motors on there. Seems to be, and they do command a pretty heavy price. You'll get good money for them. You're not going to lose anything on them, I don't think.
You never see any PAs on there though.
No, not on eBay.
No.
No, there was 275s on Stunthangar yesterday.
Was there?
2 PA 75s and headers and pipes and 2 Enya 60 rear exhausts. Jim Oliver was selling a bunch of stuff. I think I got in 4th in line because I'm hunting a header for a PA 75 because I got a 75 new in the box, but I have no header. And I think by the time I got there, everything was already claimed. But he had 2 PA 75s, 1 header, a slimline pipe for the PA 75, and then the 2 Enya 60s. The last batch of 60s, the redhead Enyas, I guess the rear exhaust ones. So, yeah, I was looking for PAs for 6 months, and there was nothing. And then, bam, there's just 2 out of the blue right there.
And they didn't last more than 10 minutes, probably.
No, hell no, they didn't. I think I was an hour late. I mean, I didn't want one of the 75s. I'm set now, but I did want a header, at least for the other one that I have. So,
What rise do you need?
actually, Jim took care of me. I messaged him. He only had 1 header listed on there, but he messaged me back. And he said he may have another header stashed away that he'd be willing to part with. And I got a message from him about an hour ago, and he found one. So I don't care about the rise right now. I just wanted to get the header and the pipe, and then I'll decide on an airframe later to fit the rise. I thought it was more important just to get my hands on a header,
I got a few of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, if you're willing to part with any, I would be interested for sure.
Well, if you got one coming, I mean, it's nothing that I want to get rid of, but I'd give you one if you needed one.
Yeah, I just don't know, the rise and what airframes. That's I'm gonna have to figure out what he's giving me, what he's selling to me, and then decide on an airframe after that. I figured it'd be much easier to take a pipe if I could get my hands to take a header if I could get my hands on it, than buy an airplane and then try to find a specific rise header for it. I mean, the kits are out there, so. But I have the new 75, and I just talked to Randy. He's making 75 pipes right now. So I'll get a pipe from him, the header from Jim, and then I've got a complete power plant ready to go.
There's my extra 75 setup with a pipe.
Boy, that's sexy.
Let me see here.
That's engine porn right there, man.
We are busy over on YouTube. If I seem to be ignoring you, I'm trying to keep up with them. We got questions about joining. We got questions about bladders and shit. See.
Well, let Sparky show his motors here real quick, and then go and answer some questions, Rusty.
Yeah, okay.
Let them know we're not ignoring them.
Yeah, guys, over on YouTube, let's get through Sparky's show and tell, and we'll come back and address all of your comments and questions.
I'm just looking for header right now.
Okay. Gary, you have to, even if you're on a phone, you can go to stunthangar.com and be logged in and get to the thread. So tell me if you can do that, and I'll tell you where the thread is to come into the video. And Gerald Wimmer's out there. Hey, Gerald. He says at least there are a lot of secondhand classic engines out there, but new stuff is very tricky now that the manufacturer seems to have stopped, apart from those exclusive engines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is Gerald joining us tonight live?
He hadn't said.
Okay.
If he can get away from family obligations. Hope Gerald, you can come in with us.
You seen this, Mike?
Yeah, that's a header muffler, right?
Right, for 75.
Oh, okay. So what kind of plane would that go on?
Any kind of pipe airplane. You don't have to run a pipe, run that muffler.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
There's another extra header.
Oh yeah.
Here's a well-used header.
Yeah.
I got some more in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm not particular. I don't care if it's used or not, man. I just, want to have what you have sitting on that couch right there, the entire power plant package ready to go, and then the airplane can be decided upon later.
That motor there is for the new airplane I'm building. I got another pipe here too. At one time, I had 7 of these dogs.
What is that motor, Sparky? Is that a PA?
Yeah.
It's a Nelson. It's a Nelson stunt engine. Henry builds them.
Oh, yeah.
Henry builds those. I mean, he makes all the parts, and then Randy assembles them. But it's Henry Nelson is the one that casts them.
So I guess the timing on that is radically different than what I got for a quarter 40.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a stunt motor, man. It's got like the perfect 424 brake and all that, man. Rusty, you need to answer some questions, do some housekeeping.
Yeah, let's look back through. First of all, let's see. 18 Stingray 1, I think that's Chris, says, Rusty, do you have a list of things you need to make a bladder? I suggested he PM me is probably the best way. And it depends on what type of engine you're going to run on a bladder. If it's half A, I'm your man. I can also help you, but I don't know as much as maybe Mike, for instance, does about the bigger engines. And
well, let's actually see what he would do to make it more interesting. AP says, do you think people would want to get into our hobbies from this hangout as it is? What else would we be doing?
that's what we're here for anyway. That's our purpose. If people find us that aren't already in the hobby and see us talking about it, maybe they'll find it interesting. But and Gary Sinclair says no, he's not a member of Stunthangar yet. So okay, so that answers that question. That's what you need to do to be able to come in here with us. So, are you I don't know if you're a modeler or not, Gary, but if you want to join Stunthangar, follow the instructions and fill out the stuff, and Sparky will cover it from there.
The pipe on that 75 there, Stingray, is a carbon fiber Randy Smith pipe.
Okay. What's a slim line pipe? That's what Jim Oliver had advertised on Stunthangar yesterday, was a Randy Smith slim line pipe.
Slim line pipe is what's in my high roller. Let's see if we can look at that. Oh, you're talking about Jim Oliver?
Yes.
Richard Oliver, I mean?
I believe it was Jim Oliver.
Richard Oliver is Rojet.
No. This guy is Jim Oliver, and he was selling PAs on the classic line.
Oh.
He's a member of Stunthangar.
This is the pipes that Randy's making now. These are a little smaller, and I thought that's what you meant.
Okay. Yep, that's what I just got for my 65.
Right. But it's 100,000 too small for 75.
Oh, okay. Okay.
100 thousandths in diameter too small.
We got any other questions out there, Rusty?
No, it's just JP was asking if he thought that just watching this forum would entice anybody to want to get into control line, and said, I don't know. He says he's been in it all his life, but if he wasn't, he wouldn't. I guess that means that this show wouldn't entice him to join the crowd.
Well, that's not what this is. This is guys that do fly control line getting together and talking about their stuff and showing it, you know.
Hopefully, if somebody came in and got interested in what we were doing, maybe they'd decide to give it a try.
Yeah.
It's hard to do without some friends in your area to help you along. That's a big problem with some people, is they don't have anybody to help them. And hopefully this is a place where you can come and talk about it. But, once you get started, but
Stingray, yes, he's just now started to make those again. Expect to pay $100 for it.
For the pipes?
Right.
Yeah, I think I paid 109 for my pipe for the 65.
Yeah. Everything's $100.
Yeah, it's all $100, man.
$10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gerald says he'll come in if he can get the boys to stop playing their musical instruments in the background.
I'll tell them to put on a show for us. Gerald,
yeah.
I want to see how they're progressing in band.
Yeah, Gerald. Put them in front of the mic.
Strike if they had music on there.
Probably not if it's just a bunch of kids banging on instruments.
Don't bet on it.
I'll be right back.
All right. I played the drums and started when I was in junior high school, and I'm sure that was just thrilling for my parents.
But JT, I would love to win the world championships. At first, I'd like to win the Nats, but that's kind of going to be tough. There's a lot of good people out there.
I don't expect to ever do anything like that, because I think I got started kind of late in precision aerobatics, and with my situation I have trouble traveling, but I aspire to belong in whatever class I'm flying in, and I was about to start advanced when the hip broke, so I hope to get back to that and belong in advanced. I don't want to just be in advanced. I want to belong in it and work my way up. If I get to mid-pack, I'd like to work my way up to the top end. But we just go take it as it comes.
Okay, Stingray, here's something here. See, this pipe is a little fatter than the one that I have in there, and this pipe is even a little fatter yet. The pipes are evolving over time. So as the technology changes, the pipe's design changes. I think Billy Warwick has something to do with that.
Oh, Jack's usually question how to change the pickup tube on a Norvell radial mount tank, the plastic one. You know what? I've never messed with one of those. I've got one that I promised to send to Charles one day. Never have, but I never use any hard tanks. I just put bladders on them, so I don't know anything about the Norvell tank except for what it looks like. I take them off and throw them in a drawer whenever I get an engine with one bolted to it.
What's actually holding the Venturi assembly in that big MiG? I
Glue.
expected to see a bolt going through there, but it looks like it's just pressed in there.
It's glued.
It's
You
glued.
got to heat it up and pull it out.
Okay,
It's epoxy.
I got you.
Different generations are different too. I think I've seen them with bolts through them too. I think my AME had a bolt through the Venturi, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go look to make sure.
Yeah, well, that's what Mike was showing last week, remember? And he was saying, well, you can just put the spray bar through here.
Right through that hole, yeah.
And not worry
called
about a Venturi.
Yeah, it's called
Right.
a bathtub intake when you do that. So some of them do have bolts, but other ones are just glued in.
Okay. Yeah, because it's funny,
you got to heat it
exploded
up.
parts diagram shows the old one, you know, with a bolt through, but the actual motor doesn't look like that at all.
Run through that one more time.
The instruction, the starting operation manual that came with the engine, the exploded view shows the old motor, and you know, it shows a bolt going through there holding that carburetor assembly in there, whereas the motor itself doesn't look anything like that.
Not surprisingly, they haven't changed their instructions as the motors evolved and changed. Norvell and NV engines tell you all kinds of things that I seriously disagree with about how to treat these engines, especially when they're brand new too.
Well, what about running it on a starter cold?
Yeah,
to break it in.
That's right.
I wouldn't
It
do
does
that.
make it easier to start, but I think what they were trying to do is reduce their phone calls because people couldn't get them to crank because the pinch was so tight. But my fix to that is to put a Cox head on it with low compression and flip it over for the first run like that. Turn it up hot, wide open, and then back it off a few times to cool it, but primarily keep it running hot. It'll adapt the piston to the pinch, and after that you can put the Norvell head back on for the second run and ever after, and it'll crank easy. And I put spring starters on mine.
Heat gun first too.
What was that, Mike?
Warm it up.
Heat gun before I start them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Warm the head, do what Rusty said. Put the Cox low compression head on it, and then put your heat gun on it for like 30 or 40 seconds. Get it warmed up, and then flip it over.
Yeah, the heat gun reduces the pinch too.
That thing about putting it on a starter and turning it over, you know, with a few drops of oil or dry or whatever, that's bullshit. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's bad.
You'll ruin it.
Yeah.
Put a low compression on it and heat it with a heat gun or even a hair dryer. Just get it warm, you know, before you get that first run on it. But
they recommend a prop as well. They recommend a 6.3 prop too, and I think that's bullshit. Maybe for the first crank, you know, because it's got more inertia, but I'd never run a Norvell with a 6.3 prop on it. Not for control line.
Gary Sinclair asked, who's flying RC or learning, and he was flying control line in the 60s. And he asked, if I fly control line again, do you think I can master the dizziness? Our club has one member that wants to try control line. The secret to not getting dizzy is watch the airplane. Look straight out at the airplane. Focus on the airplane.
Yep.
And also, before you fly, do some dry flying. You know, put your arm out and pretend like you're flying a plane and do some turns and just, you know, get used to it. Your inner ear adapts. And then after a while, you won't get dizzy anymore unless you've got some kind of other equilibrium problem.
And don't try to fly something that's flying like a bat out of hell either. Fly
right, go slow.
Lap.
Yeah. Also, once you master flying without getting dizzy, when you start learning to fly inverted, it's getting dizzy again all over. You got to get used to balance. And when you're flying backwards, it was just like I'd never flown before when I flipped it over and started flying upside down and backwards. So you got to retrain your inner ear to balance when you do that.
But I'll tell you this, if you did it in the 60s, it's like riding a bicycle. It'll come right back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I found too. It was not a big deal at all. Although I did get a little bit dizzy first few times, but then it went away pretty quickly after that.
Like I said, the secret is to watch the airplane. Here comes Gerald.
Here comes Gerald. Must have got the boys to shut up. There you go, Gerald. Turn your mic on and you'll be all here.
Well, good. I was hoping we'd get some more guys in here. I got some goodies for show and tell.
All right.
I got a pack today. I was very excited to get. How you doing, Gerald?
Good, thanks. Hi, Mike. Hi, Slappy. Hi, Rusty and Frank.
Hi, Gerald.
Hi. I'm just busy here, still working out stuff for my father-in-law's estate, trying to tidy up all these bags of things to get ready for flying tomorrow.
It's still down.
Oh, can you tell them I call them back?
Okay. He'll call you back.
Oh, another model of calling up to do that flying tomorrow. Seems to be a lot.
I've been in the hobby since I was born. There is next to nothing out there that would make me want to get into it compared to RC. How do we change things?
It's a personal preference, I guess. I'm not fascinated with RC in the least. So, you know, that's just me.
What was the question?
Says he's been in hobby since he's born, and there's next to nothing out there that would make him want to get into control line compared to RC. How do we change that?
You have to experience it, I think. You have to actually fly control line, because a lot of people that have only flown RC don't know the thrill of control line.
Flying control line is different in that you are a part of the whole machine. Your body is, you know, every move you make from your feet to your head affect how that airplane flies. And some of us like that. You know, it's like a athletic event to a degree. It's like old man athletics, young man athletics. Really, I mean, it's something that your whole body's involved in rather than just your thumbs and brain and eyes.
I've learned a lot of RC players that state flying RC is more like playing a video game, whereas control line is you're part of it. You're part of the model, part of the experience.
Gary Sinclair says, "Thanks so much for the encouragement. I hope that was a positive combination."
I think that was sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. Until you experience it, you don't really know it. The thrill of being behind the handle, feeling the plane taking away at you, gives it a whole new dimension that you don't get with the radio model. I've flown radio for a long time, but I haven't flown it for the last 2 or 3 years now. The years of getting up, I haven't gone back to it because I enjoy the thrill of control line. I don't have much time. I'd rather put it into something I enjoy more. I've got some wicked feedback. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm hearing it on my end too after you joined the call, Gerald.
I'm going to cut it. I'll go out and I'll come back in again and see if it gets rid of it.
Rusty turned his mic down, and that seemed to take care of it on his end.
Yeah, that might be something to try on your end.
Okay, I'll see what I can do there.
Yeah, my mic was turned all the way up when I went and checked it after y'all suggested that. So I turned it to 50%.
Well, so is this guy going to fly, or did we discourage him, or what? What's the deal?
Rusty, it is still your mic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let me turn it down some more then.
Turn down your speakers, maybe.
Okay, speakers are down to 27%. Microphones down to 25, 18%. Google Hangouts is down to 18%.
Keep going.
Okay, that's almost all the way down now. How am I sounding?
Loud and clear.
Really? Okay, I can't hear you, but let me turn that one up. Damn, that turns everything up. How do I sound now?
Too loud. Go into Hangout in the control room and turn the microphone adjustments.
Oh, okay. All right.
Much better.
I'll try unmuting mine now. Does it make... No.
Oh, that's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, turn it off, Gerald. You don't get to talk tonight, Gerald.
Yeah, it's Gerald that's squawking me. Well, maybe not, because now I hear squawking again. Say something, Rusty. Can't hear you.
I can hear him loud and clear, and just.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him at all.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but we can't hear Rusty.
Okay. I got him. I got him loud and clear, man. Is this our first
Okay,
time doing this?
Who can hear me now?
I hear
All
you.
right. Now we can hear you.
Does it sound okay, or do I need to adjust anything else?
Sounds all right.
Yeah, sounds okay to me.
Everything there it is. Okay. We'll try that until y'all tell me otherwise.
But we can't hear Gerald because he's muted.
Again. No. Am I sounding okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we've solved it. It's still got a weird feedback.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's Gerald.
Yeah, I'll try and find the right setting. I'll twiddle around with it. I'll mute myself again until I've sorted it.
Perfect.
All right. That's the best it sounded yet. Okay. I got my volume on the Stunthangar control back up to normal, and I got it all pulled down in my system settings. So, all right. Well, maybe we can resume our conversation without having to worry about technical difficulties.
made a little progress on the freebie Brodak airplane.
Oh, yeah.
The Sterling
Mustang.
one that Sam was given at Brodak's. It was already built. I just had to cover it. I got a couple coats of silver on it right now. I'll tell you, man, this is the first time I've ever used silver SIG dope. It's a pain in the ass to work with, man.
Don't use it anymore.
Well, I mean, Sparky, it's a profile Sterling kit. I'm not going for no 20-point finish here. I'm just trying to get some color on it. I ordered some decals, and it's just something for Sam to bomb around with. Just a fun flyer. If it's silver and people recognize it as a Mustang, then it was successful. I'm not too crazy about the finish on it, but I'm not going to go gangbusters with it either, because he's just going to tear it up. He'll end up wrecking it anyway. So,
And a O and a U, and you are the U of U control. JP says, let me put it a different way. If you were thinking about getting in one of these hobbies, what can we do to get you into U control instead of RC?
Get lots of young women involved. That would be the key. We'd be getting other young people involved, especially young females involved, and that would attract young men into it. You'd have to bribe them into it, pay them to fly. And then if you had $1 million, it'd be the quickest way of getting young men involved would just be to pay all these beautiful young models to fly planes.
That's brilliant, Gerald.
I've thought about it often, thinking how the hell can I get the membership numbers up? But in our own club, where our membership's risen over the years, and we're on 21 members now, that might sound tiny, but we just fly free flight and control line. There's no radio in our club, and we've doubled our membership over the last 10 years.
That's great.
And, yeah.
I mean, if you want to control line, you just got to fly.
Yeah.
You know.
I think a lot of that encouragement is just seeing other people fly, see them having fun, and if you tell them, come out and watch us flying and see how much fun it is, that's the greatest inducement. And
yeah, if we had girls in the church, there'd be a whole lot of boys.
yeah, it's a simple. The cars work like that. The large companies sponsoring a lot of the hot rod events or the car show will employ girls from different modeling agencies and all to come along, hand out flyers and hand out prizes and basically add a bit of bling to the event. And without those women there adding a bit of bling, it would look rather dry. But I'm sure a lot of the hot rod shows, bike shows, they tend to, they market it in a way to catch the younger folk. They've got the music, they've got the young faces there, and they know how to put across a good image. And that's probably what we lack, is just a public image. We need some marketing people in here, but all you can do is hope to bring somebody into marketing, into advertising, into your club, and then use their expertise to push the profile of your club.
I've seen a lot of big planes.
Feedback.
Jeez.
Let's get stripper poles at every contest. We'll get big brass strippers at every contest and hire some girls.
Is my microphone? I dropped it to 75%, and I dropped the sound down to 75%. Is it sounding better?
It sounds okay until we talk.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's just a bad connection tonight.
Try coming back.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. See what happens.
Yeah, because now you're all echoey on my end.
Okay, I'll drop out and come back in.
Yeah, I'm hearing everything twice.
So am I.
Not now.
Not now. No, I was hearing my own echo from my own microphone.
If I wasn't working and I had some time to dedicate to make phone calls, I had an idea to call Pizza Hut or Domino's or Papa John's or something, and have them paint a giant pizza on the flying circle.
That's a great idea, man.
They could slice it up. There'd be big pepperonis and stuff.
They could make a commercial.
Fly overhead, they'd see Domino's Pizza.
Yeah, get some corporate sponsorship for your club, man. Absolutely.
I know it would work. I know I could talk some corporate bigwig into doing it.
That's a great idea.
I think I saw a commercial where Domino's was going around some cities that had a bad pothole problem and paving holes and putting their logo over the patched pothole.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's it, Gerald. No more feedback.
Oh, that's good. That's great. We've resolved something.
Way better. Much better. Okay, now you can talk.
Okay. Yeah. On the promotion side, a friend of mine who was big into drag racing, he did the cunning move. He got his wife to race the car, and that automatically got him great promotion. And he had companies wanting to back him because his wife raced the car. He was just a mechanic, and that really helped his financial side, I believe. So his wife was great, had all the right reactions, did all the right things, and that obviously meant that everybody looked at her, not at him, but he had to simply take the back seat and let her do the driving, and the promotional money came in. It's all that image thing.
I got a response for JP. JP, if you can figure out how to get Les McDonald or Billy Warwick to fly on this YouTube channel, I'll be more than happy to put them on there. As far as that goes, you can look back at my other YouTube videos. There's plenty of Nat's videos and interviews with Billy and Bob Hunt and Paul Walker. You know, what can one guy do? I mean,
As for me, I am Joe Schmo, and if you look at my Rusty K YouTube channel, I've got some pretty damn entertaining half-A videos that I've put up of myself flying that you know, might look actually like fun.
I've got a YouTube channel as well, and I've got tons of videos of combat matches at Huntersville contests, the Nationals. Of course, there's a gazillion videos of my boy, of Samuel, learning to fly from the time he was 4.5 years old up till now. You know, there's plenty of stuff out there to watch.
I am Joe Schmo, and if you look at my Rusty K,
Whoa.
that must be Charles.
Charles, turn your YouTube off, man. There you go.
Been a challenging one tonight.
that's as bad as the chain message I got the other day every 2 seconds going off. I didn't know who it was, but boy, it sure pissed me off.
What's going on, Charles?
Oh, I'm in my garage again, and I'm gonna try to clean my garage up and listen to you guys.
You're always cleaning your garage, dude.
Oh man, it's like a black tornado went through it, and the black tornado is me.
You just got to chip away at these things.
Is
Messing everything up.
I don't want to call you out here on the live chat, but is the Vector salvageable?
Oh, not even.
No.
I mean, everything is salvageable. I mean, it's just a matter of how much enthusiasm and energy you want to put toward it, and it's just overwhelmingly destroyed.
What happened? Did they go in last weekend?
I got a very disturbing text message from Charles the other day.
I was sitting in a car dealership yesterday when that text started rolling.
Well, I made the mistake of deleting the recipient, Charles, off the text. I couldn't respond and tell him to take me off the chain. And they just kept coming and coming and coming. Oh, God.
What happened with your model, Charles?
I think we're talking about two different things.
I was rolling out, and we had a lot of rain the last week and a half, and so the grass has really just flourished. And you know, the grass is controlled by the Escondido Parks and Recreation. They have a lot of grass to cut all over town, so it was just really long. But we had cut a strip, and anyways, make a long story short, when I took off, I rolled out, and my inner wheel hit a clump of grass, turned the plane in, and it came into a circle. Then it went in the air, and you know, I'm holding the handle with lines that are draping the ground. The plane's taking off, and then finally, at the end of the lines, the plane came to its end, and it turned an abrupt corner again, came back toward the center of the circle. Lines got slack again, and then bam, it came in at about 80 degrees, and just carnage.
Did
and
you
it's like I never really had control of the plane.
Well, these things happen. That's all I can say. It's happened to all of us. It's unfortunate when you lose it completely like that. You've got no control over what's happening.
Yeah, it was nothing I could do. So you know, I took out my redhead stepchild Oriental, and you know, at first I wasn't that unhappy about the Vector. I mean, it's just like, hey, you know, so what? It's gone. But I flew this redhead stepchild airplane, and it's not even the same league, you know, as way it flies. And then I became very sad. It's like, oh,
I lost a great thing. Yeah, I've had that recently myself, where I've lost 2 models in a row. I'm on the back foot now. I've got to build back up and get another model at that level again. It is hard. But yeah, that's why you always got to be building. You've always got to be working towards the next one, because it can happen at any time.
Yeah, I've just been putting so much attention in this one plane. And I mean, I have a Strega here, I need to finish repairing the landing gear, and that will fly. I don't think it flies as good as the Vector does, but I learned some things from the Vector that I can transfer to this plane.
Yeah.
And get this plane flying good. But I really need to, my wife was telling me, you know what, maybe you just need to just focus on building your plane. But I need a plane for the Nats anyway. So that's why I'm cleaning my garage. So I can get a building table to get going and build a Pathfinder, built up Pathfinder in short order.
Yeah, well, I've got a Pizzazz that Laurie Crystal built, another competent builder in New Zealand built, and they're a very good model. It's got a LA-46 on it. I'm just going to refinish the fuselage so I can fly it in a contest in 2 weeks' time. But yeah, you just find you've got to do whatever you can just to keep practicing and have something that you can use. So if you could get another ready to fly Vector, it might be a good investment, just so you've got something to keep you going while you're building.
I was going to ask Charles if he'd put his Strega behind him, because that was his flagship a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's what happened to Strega. I was at the same field. The grass had came up, and the person who was responsible for cutting the field wasn't cutting it, and the supervisor at the place I fly started cutting it, and then it became some contention between the two of them. It's like, you should be doing your job. I shouldn't be doing your job for you. So the supervisor stopped cutting, and it was kind of like a war against wills, And in the process, the grass got long. I took my Strega out there, and I think on landing, it took out my landing gear. Took out one of the took out the outboard wing panel, the landing gear in there. It's a wing gear. So I got to fix it.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
Yeah,
It's got the stalker in it, right?
Yeah, the stalker 81's in the Strega.
Yeah.
Oh, Spark, you have a question. The header that's with a PA, do you think that would fit on a K-77?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yep, same motor, same. It's basically the same thing. We need to find somebody to make us some more headers.
Dave Sabon is gonna actually, through Bob Brooks, is gonna give me a heavy impact, and I think that impact had a PA-75 in it. So I'm thinking if I put my K-77 in there, I have a header from Bill Woolridge I got off of eBay. So I just need a header, and I could probably get that plane going. And now I'll need every bit of the power out of that K-77 for this big heavy impact.
Well, JP, as soon as flying season comes around, I'll make another movie of the top guys flying.
Sparky's got all the videos of the big guys flying at last year's Nats. I was just typing that. Now I said it. I don't have to type it.
Your camera's moved, Rusty. It's now just getting your chin. I don't know if everybody else has got that, but yeah, we're only getting part of you in.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, when I sit up close, hang on, I'll adjust my camera there.
Yeah.
I just ordered another microphone, so we got better quality audio for the movies than what I had. I can't believe how expensive that camera gear shit is.
Well, I suppose it's a big part of their modeling nowadays, is the communication part, and keeping on the internet and keeping up to date with all your equipment. It's not cheap, but I suppose at least it's still a lot cheaper than being into motorsport.
I think I'm going to sell my Osmo. I might sell my Nikon and just keep with my Sony and my Canon and my Sony Handycam. I don't take still pictures.
Speaking of motorsports, Gerald, it's amazing to me how these guys that we watch on TV now, you know, the they've got the street outlaws and all that. Man, these guys put tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars into their cars week after week, and I don't know where all that money could possibly come from.
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's sponsorship again. You can't race on a race.
Rusty.
What'd you say?
They're pharmaceutical salesmen.
Either that or they're winning a hell of a lot of races.
Yeah, you're getting sponsorship, but it's like a lot of people have said, it's not an affordable hobby without some sort of additional money. You can't be in motor racing on a normal average wage.
I'm sure Discovery Channel is contributing some to this television drag racing too.
Hey, Rusty, you'll recognize this because I know you follow them. Let me see here. Uh-oh, that's not it. What happened to it?
Are you showing your underwear, Sparky?
What did I do with it?
I can't remember.
There it is. Recognize that shirt, Rusty?
Oh, holy shit. Sweet Honey Barbecue. Oh, Cletus, yeah.
Cletus,
how did you know I was a Cletus fan? Did I accidentally drop some Cletus videos on your channel?
No.
Sometimes when I'm on YouTube and I put something in my watch later box, I realize later I just was on your channel when I did it. So I'll take it out and put it on my channel. But yeah, I like Cletus, but I was disappointed the other day to find out he doesn't know how to build an engine. I thought this guy was an engine expert, but I watched him put an engine together the other day for the first time ever that he had done it.
Not real adept. And when they were ball honing that 4-bolt main block, you don't ball hone like that. You have to have a 45-degree crosshatch, not.
That's right. That's what I thought too. They were putting just a horizontal scratches all over it.
Not good. I'll neither be done.
You got to have the right drill motor speed and move at the right in and out motion at the same time.
Well, they're talking about ring end gap at 25 thousandths. It's 4 thousandths per inch of bore. It's not 25 thousandths. So if you got a 4-inch bore, 4 times 4 is what? 16 thousandths. But they said, we got to run it loose to boost. When you put it together, it's worn out.
Yeah. If you're going to put boost on it, you only make it worse. I suppose the difference between low compression, fit up for low compression, and having a low mechanical compression because you've got leakage.
You know what else they did too is they hammered those pistons in without any kind of protection over the bolts, and guarantee you they nicked the crankshaft journals because you got to protect that crankshaft when you're putting pistons in.
That's basic stuff. Yeah. You can get the crankshaft protectors, either use a bit of tube or little bits of neoprene tubing, but you can buy a commercial product to protect those bolts. Yeah.
Well, I got a Snap-on ring compressor that it's like a big pair of pliers with a loop on it. You just go like that and push them right in with your hand.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Tracking says that engine will be here tomorrow, is what it says.
Awesome.
Yep. And I got some new toys today. Those kits I was talking about last week showed up. I'm going to show them here in a little bit.
Oh, man, that's why I came in. I was listening to the program, and I thought, well, let me get down in there so I could see it.
Yeah.
JP writes, thank you so much. You guys are doing more than anyone else, but we're up against huge adversities in RC. We need to figure out a way to make our hobby cool. I really like Gerald's idea, but I don't have the money to pay them girls to come out there.
Yeah.
Our hobby is cool, man. Look, you either get control line or you don't.
Oh, JP?
That's the
deal.
You either get it or you don't. And you fly whatever discipline whether it's stunt, speed, combat, racing, carrier. I mean, we've got plenty of events for anybody who's interested in flying control line.
There's so many branches of this hobby. Yeah.
If you like building motors and tweaking shit and making it go fast, be a speed guy or a racing guy. You know, if you like to make noise, be a jet guy. If you want to build, you know, beautiful models, be a stunt guy. If you like to shit up and get your adrenaline going, fly combat. You know, I think we have more avenues and disciplines in control line than RC has. You know, there's something for everybody, really.
And they're approachable. You can get into them easily. You don't need huge dollars like you do in a lot of the RC events.
You don't need huge dollars, and you don't need a 400-foot paved runway. With the dawn of electrics, you can fly control line at the schoolyard. You know,
and you get the satisfaction of building the machine that flies too.
Yeah.
Well, you can. I've built a lot of RC airplanes. You know, so, and if you ever go to Toledo and you see some of the RC people there who build, you'll be really surprised.
Oh, I've been there. Oh yeah, I've seen the show there.
Yeah. The stuff they build there, control line doesn't even compare for scale and everything else. I mean, 3 years ago, a guy had machine guns that actually turned and looked like he had a little guy up there that was shooting out. It was some I can't remember the airplane they used in Vietnam where they laid it on its side and then just ripped out the windows or them doors or whatever.
Yeah, it was the C-130 gunship.
What was that?
The C-130, the gunship.
That's it.
Oh,
Puff the Magic Dragon.
That'll chew up some real estate.
The doors opened up. The guy with the machine guns went. I mean, this thing was the coolest airplane I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, when I flew scale, I think that was in 15 or 16 when I got a third. The guy who flew precision scale had a crop duster airplane that would blow your mind. It was every bit as good as what you're talking about there. It had a little fan on the bottom for airspeed and all the it was unbelievable. And he almost crashed it. He almost lost it.
Yeah. At recent nationals, there were some really elaborate scale models there, but they weren't coping with the wind. And from what I heard, there were like 3 large models that crashed. And you think, well, there's huge money, effort, and time gone into it. At least from the control line perspective, at least, if you're flying combat, you're enjoying yourself for relatively small dollars, and there's a sport part of it that I think with a lot of the large scale models, you don't have that sport element of it, and that could appeal a lot to younger people, the fact that you're actually doing something very physical. It's not just a mental or a money thing.
Well, Gerald, I think that the RC stuff, there's not a lot of guys building. I mean, there's so many options for RC ARFs that, you know, even giant stuff and big 3D gassers and stuff, there are the only guys really building in RC. A lot of the glider guys, the slope soaring guys and glider guys, they build their own stuff. And then the scale guys, you know, giant scale stuff, they build their own stuff. But RC planes are a dime a dozen. They're, you know, we talk about ARFs and control line and how prolific they are. It's way worse in RC. I go to the RC field out there, and I don't think I've seen an airplane yet that anybody on that field has actually built.
I know, it's scary. It is.
They haven't built
flying beer coolers.
They're plug and play, and their ARFs, you know.
You gotta get back here. You gotta get back here to Michigan. I'll take you out. We'll go out on a Saturday, and you won't see an ARF. We build all of our own stuff here.
Look what Sparky's got. That ain't no flying beer cooler.
Tell us about that, Spark.
It's like a piece of custom artwork. It's like the custom bikes where there's all that work and effort, that beautiful finish. It's another element where it's very personalized but finely made. And
it is another element. I mean, there's the guys that want to build a model in the RC world, and in the control line world, it's mainly in stunt or scale, where you're seeing the beautiful airplanes, you know, the workmanship and the quality and the craftsmanship. But a lot of guys just want to go out and bang around, you know.
Yeah, well, I think with the control line stunt, the great thing is that it's its own thing. They're not trying to pretend to be a scale Mustang or a scale Spitfire. They're their own thing. They're a stunt model. They're a specialist model, and that makes them quite. It's like a lowrider custom, say, where you've created something that's not a Mercury anymore. It's its own thing, and the way you finish it is in its custom style. You follow all the custom cues. It could be a custom bike or like Sparky's model behind him there. It's a piece of artwork, and it reflects a culture as well. It's not just a reflection of a full-size airplane. It's its own thing.
It is, but again, it's like anything else. There's a small percentage of guys in that hobby, whatever it is, cars, motorcycles, RC planes, control planes. There's a small percentage that are going to make that effort to build equipment like that. Yeah. To put the time in and do it. You know, I mean, we all build planes, but how many of us build 18-point front row models or even award-winning scale RC planes? How many of us do that?
That's real people for JP.
Y'all give Sparky a break here.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
JP, this is thank you very much. That's real gold leaf on the wings. I show how to do that on my channel. It's not that hard. To me, building and flying is where it's at. I love building. I've been doing it 55 years.
That's beautiful.
No, very beautiful.
Can we see the bottom, Sparky? Show us the bottom.
You want to see the bottom?
Bottom.
Looks just like the top.
JP says appearance isn't the issue, flying and competing is, but that's not all true. The pattern, I mean, the appearance points, that's what I was trying to say. Appearance points are a big part of it, and whether you want those points or not, just the satisfaction of building something that artistic and beautiful that still meets everything that it needs to be a good flyer. That's a satisfaction for some modelers. Like we said, there's all sorts of avenues you can take into control line, and building and making beautiful planes is an important part of it.
That's going to be my downfall. My personal shortcoming is building and finishing. I'm not so worried about the flying part. I think I can fly pretty well, and with a coach and some real practice, I think I can excel in this. It's going to be turning out models like what Sparky does, or Derek Berry, or Dave Fitzgerald. At this point, I can't build anything like that.
No, I don't even aspire to be that good at it. As long as I can build a solid ship that'll fly good.
Right.
I like for it to be pretty, but that's as far as I'm going to go.
But again, guys who build and fly airplanes like that, they're at the expert level, and there's a reason they're experts.
Yeah, they got to have that 20 points.
Were you there last year at Huntersville, Mike?
I took second and advanced.
Did you see the big hole that was poked in my wing right there?
I did not. I didn't do it, did I?
No, you didn't do it. The guy helping me put his hand right through my wing right here. Big old hole.
Oh, my God.
And I repaired it. You can't hardly tell.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, Doran said, well, we could put a patch on there. No, we ain't putting a big booger on there.
Yeah, that was before I had met Doran. I didn't even know he was at that contest.
Oh, Doran did it.
Yeah,
oh,
no. Doran's the one that commented on fixed it with fiberglass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It would not look that good had I fixed it with fiberglass.
Yeah.
Then I got this project going. I mean, I think you guys have seen this. got the notch cut in the leading edge of the wing here for the tank sitting back in there.
That's looking nice.
Looks like it's heavy, Rusty. I think it weighs a ton.
Yeah, it's real heavy. Better not.
Man. I know how hung up on weight you are.
Yeah, Sparky, I think he's upset that he's kind of hit a wall with his weight lately. He's struggling to get them lighter and lighter.
I bet he dances if he loses half a gram on an airplane, you know?
See this right here? This is $55 worth of pre-flight tissue from England. 10 sheets.
Jeez, that's expensive.
Is that what you call a Jap tissue?
Yeah, this is in newspapers. It's just such a pain in the ass to get out. I don't want to take it out, but it's $55 worth for 10 sheets plus shipping. So it ended up at like $70 by the time it was done. And that's what I'm willing to get. I'm willing to go through whatever it takes to get the airplane lighter. I also got.
Who makes that tissue, Sparky?
I have to look at my PayPal receipts. Only one place in the world has tissue long enough to do a wing. That's 30 inches. Japanese tissue is handmade. And how it's made is they take a frame, they make a frame, and they dunk it into the pulp, in and out. And they normally only make it like 20 inches by a foot or whatever. That's 30 inches. So one place in the world had it. And of course, here's another roll of unobtainium. Well, it's not unobtainium, but highly expensive shit. Carbon fiber. Whatever it takes.
CTS or CST or how you
Came from aerospace composites.
Was it carbon fiber net? Yeah.
Yeah, 210.
That ringmaster that Matsui gave Samuel at Brodax last year is covered in Japanese tissue. And it's a take-apart ringmaster, and it weighs 24 ounces with the motor.
Right. Incredible.
I've showed that on here a couple of times. It's a very beautiful, beautiful airplane. Well,
I didn't realize
Brodex.
Jap tissue, how they make that, it goes in their doors and windows.
They make lanterns out of it.
They make lanterns out of it, but they were showing that on a traditional Japanese house. I was just watching it.
We should probably call it Japanese tissue. Let's be culturally sensitive here. Slang, Japanese tissue to
feelings don't override my First Amendment.
So we don't offend anybody out there.
That's better than calling it nip tissue, I guess.
Rusty, come on, man.
But yeah, they were showing it made, and some of the stuff that the paper they made to go in the windows will last like 50 years.
Wow.
After it's put in and lacquered and however they do it. Yeah, they said that, you know, if you don't poke a hole in them, but yeah, they'll last like 50 years.
Obviously, it's a very neutral.
Last like 5 years. I don't poke a hole in them.
What's that?
I said my planes will last a long time too if I don't poke a hole in them.
I'm usually not finished building one, but when I drop a screwdriver through the wing or something like that.
But if you left your airplane outside for 50 years in the rain and the snow and all that kind of stuff, I doubt it would last that long.
So, talking about dropping airplanes, this one that I just covered and put the silver dope on, day before yesterday after I doped the wing, sometimes I hang them from my garage rail for my garage door. I've got a little hook and I set it up on the rail, and as long as the door's open, it's not a big deal, you know, because I leave the garage open so the dope fumes can get out and stuff. Well, I had to take the kids to gymnastics last night, and I left it hanging on the garage rail on the garage door, and I hit the door, closed the garage door when we left to go to gymnastics, and then I realized when we were there, oh shit, I left that airplane hanging on the garage door rollers. and I was thinking I was going to come home and find it on the floor just all busted to shit. But the wheels rolled right over the little hook that I had hanging, and the airplane was still hanging there when I came back.
That's
I was really sweating that.
Go ahead.
I thought it was going to be broken, but it was still hanging there. So good to know.
JP says, as sad as it is, I can buy a beautiful model as a Monado in RC. You can buy my Monado. Everything I got for sale.
I couldn't understand you, Rusty. Or Sparky.
JP said, as sad as it is, I can buy a beautiful model as that Monado in RC. And I said, you can buy my Monado. Everything I got for sale.
Oh, okay. Where's your
So
time
is
now?
that airplane going to stay in silver, or are you sanding silver?
No, that's SIG silver dope, man, because it's a sterling model.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to sand it in silver. I'm like, man, that's a pain in the butt.
That's SIG silver dope, and I ordered some decals online of the stars and bars and whatnot. I'm just gonna do a quick and dirty finish on it for Sam. It's not for me; it's for Samuel. He's gonna tear it up anyway, so I'm not gonna put a whole lot of work into it.
It might have made it easier to do the silver if you put a coat of white down first.
Well, yeah, I probably should have, but I didn't. I put 2 coats of clear, and now it's got 2 coats of silver on it. So it's going to get 1 more coat of silver. I'm probably not even going to sand it, and then I'm going to call it good, you know?
Yeah, be careful, because that's probably what, besides the gold that you can't get anymore, that was the heaviest colors there is, because you're actually putting metal on the wing.
It covers well though, silver. Even though it's metal, it's a fairly light color.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, you can't really see it. It's really streaky, guys. It's really, really streaky, and it hasn't filled the grain that much with the color. But, you know, it is what it is, man. It's a free Sterling Mustang that I'm just finishing so Sam can go tear it up.
That's the one that had all the lightning holes drilled in it, right?
Yes. Yeah, if you can probably see them if you look real close.
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
The fuse, right? Because it's not covered all the way there. Like I said, I'm gonna throw 1 more coat of dope on it, and it's gonna be. That's it. I'm not investing any more time in this thing.
Yeah. Well, until we're very confident we're not having any incidents, it's just a matter of time before something happens. I know from my own 2 sons that often it's just a silly accident, and then you're repairing it again. You don't want to get too worried about it.
No, I don't. It's for a 10-year-old, man. You know, and it's not like this is a Randy Smith kit or you know, super expensive RSM kit.
Well, the 2 ringmasters, my sons Otto and Max, we covered it with this Brodex stuff, the Brodex shrink fabric.
Right, but I mean, Harold, you can understand when you're building models for your boys, man. You don't spend a lot of time finishing, do you?
No. I tried to get them to do a lot of the finish, because that way they've invested the obvious part in it. They can see the finish, so I try to get them to paint it, but they get hammered. You know, they really do.
Yeah, get them fuel proof and enough so they fly. That's all that matters.
Yeah. It's nice if they're repairable. That's another big plus. I try to put on spray bar assemblies that don't get ripped off. You know, put on remote needles where I can, and mufflers that aren't going to get torn off, because you want them to fly. You want them to practice. You don't want them to be too precious. And if I gave them each ennobler to fly, they'd be very reluctant to try anything new.
Who's JP?
On the chat.
I can't see the chat, but he's been asking a lot of questions tonight. What's your query, Steve?
No, it's just all of a sudden it pops up on the screen. I've never had it before. It said something about JP has a bug up his ass.
Who says that?
I don't know. It popped in the middle of my screen and then it just disappeared. I don't know where that came from.
Okay.
I'm like, who the hell's JP?
Well, I turned the chat off. I was worried I was getting interference, so I turned my chat off. So I don't know what's going on the chat.
I never have that chat open, actually.
No, but I didn't have nothing open. I didn't. It just like a little deal come up across my screen.
Yeah, I saw it too, Steve.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I've never seen nothing like that before. Like,
Well,
oh, good feature.
I don't know. He's been questioning the merits of flying control line this evening, and
Oh,
Yeah, I really think you just need to go out and try flying control line, and then you'll know whether you like it or not.
is JP still on? Where is he located, Rusty? Ask him where he's
I
located.
don't know.
JP, where are you at? What part of the country are you in, man? If he's still on there, maybe we can steer him to a control line group. I mean, he's an RC guy, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got a map of control line fields on Stunthangar too.
Because it seems to be getting more common too, where you have RC clubs that put in a control line circle and you start flying both. I know we do it.
Yeah, he says no bug. I wish we could figure out how to get people into UC versus RC. Yeah, sure, I do too.
Okay, where are you, JP? Where are you located? What city and state are you in? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because you might be one of our neighbors. You might live in the same town as one of the guys.
Yeah, he says he's strictly UC. Just worried about hobbies like the rest of us.
Okay.
see
This is my
myself.
beautiful baby girl, Emma.
I love flying RC. I love flying drones. I love running boats. I like running cars. I'll fly control line. I like it all. I ain't stuck with it. Oh,
JP's in Philly.
that's the best. Or
Yeah, I'm with
JP's
you,
in
Steve.
Philly.
I do it all.
Up there.
Okay, but we still don't know what state he's located
Oh,
in.
he's in Philly.
He's in Pennsylvania. He's in Philly.
Well, if he's in
Join
Pennsylvania,
the Philly Flyers.
Well,
I'll tell you what, Doug Moon, who is the national champion of control line flying, can fly the shit out of a helicopter. I seen him do it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the guys flying control line here in New Zealand are very keen on flying radio. We do have a lot of crossover here between those that fly all different other disciplines. But personally, I just find I've got enough on my hands. Particularly when we were at the Nationals and I had to set up 6 models at once. I had 3 control line classic stunt models and 3 control line scale models, and we were told to fly both events at the same time. So it was just impossible because I had trying to help my 2 boys, and if they wanted to fly radio or free flight at the same time, it would just be too hard. So I've limited what we compete in purely for practical reasons, not because I don't enjoy flying RC. It's just there's only so much that one can do. Sometimes it's easier to specialize.
Well, I can sit on my back deck and fly the drone around, or the quadcopter around. I got a couple helicopters. I haven't had enough coonies or whatever.
Hey,
But
Rusty,
yeah, I haven't flown them because I'm afraid to crash them. But
do we know what part of Pennsylvania Mr. JP is from? I mean,
He says Philly.
is he a Philly flyer? I mean, does he fly with the Philly guys?
I don't know, JP. Do you know the Philly Flyers guys? He mentioned Banjock a few minutes ago, so yeah, he knows them.
Yeah, Banjock and
Ken Cook. That's Colombo. He's a Philly Flyer, isn't he?
No. Columbo's Detroit, man.
Is he?
Don't ever get the Detroit guys confused with the Philly guys, man.
I'm sorry. Roy Glenn, he's one of them.
Roy Glenn.
Dennis Bretz.
John Saunders. Philly Skip Chernoff. There's a bunch of them.
There is.
That's a busy club.
Falco. Got Mike Palco.
Oh, Jeffrey Riley. He's new in here tonight. Says JP needs to fly in SoCal, and
Yeah.
all the Valley flyers fly what I call junk compared to my beat to death shoestring. I got a beat to death shoestring too. Mine's a profile shoestring. Old Goldberg. That was my first PA ship, and it did not fly PA very well. It turned loops the size of beach balls.
My favorite was your Yuki, Rusty, that I
Oh,
watched
mine too.
the reverse wing over and forgot to pull out of.
I did. I went to sleep on that first leg of a wing over.
That was awesome.
It buried all the way up to the wings. And that's not even the funniest part.
You fixed it with 30-minute epoxy, and your next flight was 15 minutes later, and then the wing folded on your second official.
Oh shit! Jerked my freaking shoulder off just about. I bent that damn solid steel Fox bell crank in half too.
Yeah.
You
I
need
never
someone.
knew a plane could yank that hard when it hit the other side of the circle. I can't believe those lines didn't break.
These are really good at a contest. The little syringes of 500 epoxy because they're convenient. I just chuck one in the black box and make sure I've got a fresh one when we go into a contest.
Yeah.
You do something a bit better than Sino, and you want something that's quick and it's convenient, easy to make.
I always carry 5-minute with me for combat, man, because you can glue a wing back on and put a little spar brace on it and be up for the next match, you know, and not have to get another new airplane out.
Yeah. I thought I was going to have more time for that Yuki wing to harden, but nah, it didn't.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That was a terrible weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, clear packing tape. That's great stuff.
Yeah, the strong one. You want the long-lasting, durable, strong one. Not the cheap one's good for quick repairs, but you need the good quality 3M or Scotch one for if you want it to last and hold out.
What's really cool, I don't know if they make it anymore, was MacTac. There's this stuff called MacTac in a big sheet. You can cover some big holes with that.
That's why I carry FastCal.
FastCal, is that like MacTac?
Well, yeah, it's like 1 mil laminating film, but it's got an adhesive on it.
Yeah.
It's, 3-foot roll.
This is it right here.
I've got 150 feet of it.
Oh, okay. Is that FastCal?
Yeah, Mike picked me up at Brodak last year with this piece of FastCal on this wing.
Oh, yeah, we did. We passed that plane, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, that was, always had that stuff with us way back when we were kids.
So is it the same stuff you use for like covering books or is it for decals?
Just giant masking tape.
Yeah, so I don't know what they use that stuff for in the industry, but yeah, it's like a big giant piece of mask or cellophane tape that they haven't cut into small and into packing tape width or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, a guy in our club. I got a model from him, and he's covered the whole thing in like the mylar covering that you used to cover over books to give it that nice clear. I think they call it cover seal here. But
this is FastCal, guys. This is how it comes.
Oh yeah.
Roll that big. It's that wide.
Wow.
It's just film.
Hmm.
It's got a backing paper on it.
What do they use that for? What's it made for?
I don't know what the hell it's made for, but it's great for covering combat models.
Where are you getting it from?
Well, the roll I just showed you, I bought that from Marvin Denny before he died. And there was that was a 150-foot roll by 3 feet long, and I paid him $150 for it. because that's what it goes for. But it's 1 mil laminating film is what it is, but it has an adhesive on it, so it sticks when you put it down.
Right. It sticks to anything
I'm
else.
sure you guys saw Samuel's Stuntbot foam wing Nats planes. That's what he covered his foam wings with, was fast cal.
Yeah, I think that's similar to what this model's covered with. It's a twister, and it's got that. It's a self-adhesive covering. I didn't make this model. This was a
Fast cal is very similar to SLC, to Phil Cartier's the SLC. I forget what SLC stands for. Super light
covering.
Super light covering. So fast cal is about the same thickness and the same feel, but it has an adhesive like tape on it. The fast cal does. Phil's covering has an adhesive that's activated by heat. So you got to heat it for the adhesive to go. The fast cal is just like Scotch tape. It's just like peeling off a roll of Scotch tape. It sticks when you put it down. And it does shrink. When you hit it with the gun or the iron, it will shrink and take the wrinkles out. It's great for covering foam, and it works well on open bays too. I mean, it's fine on open bay stuff. But it's, you know, it's a quick and dirty way to cover a wing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's light, I suppose. You got the adhesive, but like this, it is very light. The model itself is very light. It's a great.
Right. So is that stuff adhesive, Gerald?
Yeah, it's self-adhesive. The guy that I've got the model from said he's got more of it. It was the covering box.
So when you peel it, it's sticky on the back.
Yeah, it's sticky on the back. Yeah.
How many mil is it? Do you know?
I don't know. I'd have to try measuring where it's loose.
It's generally one mil. You know, and there is some half mil stuff out there too, but it's too thin to use on bigger models. The half mil stuff is what we put on half A combat models.
Mike, have you talked to Dick lately?
I did. I called him like 2 weeks ago just to check in with him and see how he was doing.
You told him you wanted that 22?
No, it didn't come up. I didn't bring it up.
I told him that you wanted it.
Okay. No,
So,
I just.
Hey, these guys on YouTube.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. On YouTube, somebody, when I mentioned the Yuki when we were talking about it a minute ago, was thinking we were referring to the control arm euphemism, but it's an airplane, and here's a picture of it. And
I'll do you one better. I'll show you one. I got one.
Okay. There you go. That I'm on the right in that picture, and that is a Yuki. It's got a pine fuselage and a foam wing, and Fox, or that one actually has a OS 25 on the front of it. And
who's the over with the spiderweb painted airplane?
yeah, he sprayed it with some kind of string paint.
Interesting, I think. Yeah. Different.
that was a Cartier airplane. That's that. I can't think of what.
There's a Yuki 35 right there.
Yeah, that's a Yuki. That's the same one I got. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that, I don't know, fiberglass something on there. I'm not sure what it is, but
Fuselage is made out of pine.
That looks like a Fox engine on that. What is that?
That's a
36.
Yep.
Yeah,
You said you got rid of all your Fox engines.
Well, I forgot this one was up there. That's a slant head 36 that Tom Weedman gave us. Tom Weedman gave this engine to Sam. So it's, you know, this airplane, we haven't flown it in like 2 years, so I forgot I still had a Fox. Don't beat me up too bad.
Oh, they're a nice motor. They're one of my favorites. I like those.
Well, a Broda prop, it looks like.
That's the Yuki 35. Right
Mine
there.
doesn't have a canopy on it.
And you know, you can buy these now new from Tom Dixon, and I believe he's got 3 sizes. I know there's 2 sizes for sure.
I think there's 3.
That's this size, and then there's a 40 size, a bigger version of this exact same airplane, bigger version of the same plane.
Yeah.
And I think it's an ARF, if I'm not mistaken. Tom Dixon sells them.
Has he got a website?
Was that just a piece of plywood?
It's pine. It's got a pine fuselage.
The fuselage is that, and man, it looks like. Hang on, I'll measure it.
That's a tough. That's a tough plane.
It's half-inch pine fuselage.
Hey,
Goes all the way to the back, and then there's some doublers, which look like 1/8-inch plywood. Some doublers that go from here all the way to the firewall.
What's the wing covered with, Mike? What is that stuff on there?
It's probably fast cal, is what I'm guessing.
It's
Now,
some kind of plastic, clear plastic.
And what is that, paint underneath the plastic?
It's paint underneath. This is the way that, man, who designed this thing? Was it Clayton?
That doesn't sound right. I can't remember. Wayne told me.
Okay,
they,
no,
they spray that other stuff on there. It's supposed to be for strength or whatever.
yeah, they spray it on the foam cores and then they cover it with fast cal. Because this plane goes back to the the late 80s, 90s, I'm guessing.
Yeah, at least that far back.
At least that far back. So
basically, it's just like one of Cartier's airplane.
yeah, but it came.
Yeah.
The wing panels came already with this fiberglass or carbon fiber. I don't even know what it is. The wing panels came covered. They were already covered with the spars in them, and you joined everything together. And you know, you did the fuselage.
What's it has on there for ribs? It looks like a piece of plastic or something glued onto it.
For ribs?
It's got a square spar through it.
There's no ribs.
No, I said spar, I meant.
There's a spar in there. There's a spar. It's like combat wing, man.
It's mounted on dowels that go through the fuselage or into the fuselage.
Yeah, I would have never known that till I saw yours all opened up, Rusty.
Yeah. I never have glued that wing back on. I need to do that.
It looks a bit like the gotcha streak. Is it bigger or smaller than the gotcha streak?
But I mean, this was meant to be a very simple, easy build profile trainer. You know, something.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of foam wing stunt planes for training.
Yeah.
Instead of building kids stuff with ribs and open bays on them and all the work that goes in, it's so much easier to do a foam wing type airplane for people.
I like Phil, Cartier's gotcha streaks.
I got a couple of those and the RSD. Because with these, when you plant them in, they break right here, and the wings go. They just break out, and you just slam some epoxy in there and push back together, and you're good to go.
Exactly. That's how mine broke.
You know, an open bay airplane with regular spars and either monocoque and dope. When you auger it in, then you break the leading edge, you break the spars, you break the trailing edge. It's toast.
I got pictures. I got pictures of my whole
Cartier's airplane. If you go to Hobby Lobby, you can buy that. Was it over quarter? What 3/8 maybe wide? That the wood that he puts on his, and I buy it in like a 6-foot piece, and then you can go. You don't have to piece it like he shows to do it because you can't get that long of a piece in a box. And that really makes that wing stiff. And the same thing, when you crash it, it'll take and split the back, just glue it and put it back together. That one that Dick did, I bet you that plane was crashed 7 or 8 times before it finally blew apart.
There was a guy, Charlie Sabatka, was flying a Yuki 40 at Brodak last year in intermediate that he got from Tom Dixon. That's what he flew profile.
I didn't notice that he was flying one. I got to know him. He's a pretty cool guy.
He didn't have it.
He went out and gutted out a spectacular flight in the wind that day.
He was flying in at Brodak, Rusty, not at
Brodak. Okay, I was thinking Huntersville.
Yeah,
all right.
red one. But Tom Dixon has those kits, man, in at least 2 sizes, and they are ours. They're like quick build. I think you could build one at a contest and, you know, and fly it that day later. If you were using 5-minute epoxy, you could assemble one probably in less than 2 hours if you wanted to.
Yeah. Correct for people wanting to learn the pattern. There are a lot of guys in our club that can fly loops and lazy eights, but they want to learn the more complex maneuvers and something like that. I imagine you could do your squares. It may not be great, but it'll be a good plane to learn the more complex maneuvers.
Well, and it's based on a combat design, so when you stuff it, you're certainly not going to break the nose off it. You know what I mean? There's so much plywood and hardwood up in the front of that thing, you're not going to snap the nose off it. You know, like I said, the wings are going to shear from the trailing edge like that if you donk straight in. Yeah. But you'd have to be trying pretty hard or smash it on concrete or asphalt to do any damage to the fuselage.
Yeah.
Very robust trainer. You know, they're heavy though too. That's the sacrifice, is that they're heavy airplanes for their size, because that is a 1/2-inch hind fuselage. You know. Yeah. Whereas Phil on his rugged stunt trainers, I think he's using 1/4-inch basswood on his rugged stunt trainer. And of course, the Streak 2000s and the Gotcha Streaks and all that, they're 1/2-inch balsa with some plywood doublers on them.
Yeah. The only thing is the balsa glues together well. That's the only easy thing.
Yeah, you can stick it back together.
Yeah, you can see that. Good.
What you got, Sparky?
That's my wireless microphone, Stunthangar.
Looks like a sex toy, man.
Yeah.
Charles, I think, had a model there before. What model did Charles have?
On it. That's
I was going to say, you put my initials on it.
Combat plane. I was hanging up.
Oh. But what type of combat model, Charles?
I don't know what it is. A friend of mine, he crafted it, and he, in frustration, just gave it to me. So I have a couple of combat planes. I'm not sure what it's called.
Flip it over. Is there an engine on it?
Yeah, there's a.
Hello.
What is this? A Tower? Tower Hobbies.
Okay, I gotta get up. I'm on this thing here.
A little higher.
Oh, it looks like a lot of fun.
That looks like an old Checo fast combat plane.
Okay. Yeah, it might be.
That looks like an old Russian or Ukrainian or Czechoslovakian fast combat. From the late 90s, early 2000s. But if you got 40 on it, then it would be probably a suitable speed limit model.
Yeah.
But I bet that was originally intended for a Nelson 36.
Yeah, probably.
It looks about the right size.
How many inch area would you normally use on a Nelson 36 size model?
I run between 400 and 500 on my foamies.
What do you got on it for a motor, Charles?
This has a Tower 40.
Oh, okay.
And see,
check out the engine mount. The engine mount is really beautiful.
With those Checos and the Russians like that, the 40s weigh about the same as a Nelson. So you can pull a Nelson off of a model that size and put a 40 on it, and it'll still balance properly. But instead of going 120 or 130, it'll fly 75. You know, that's set up for speed limit right now. That's a speed limit model. But I'm sure the original intent of that, it was a fast combat from the European guys.
Yeah, you can tell by main parts, European style plane.
Have you flown it yet?
What?
Have you flown it yet?
No, but I flew my other combat plane Monday because the ground was so bad I wouldn't take my stunt planes out there, and then I did the next day and crashed the Vector. But that was Tuesday I crashed the Vector. But Monday I flew another combat ship, and it's the I'll pull it down.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick. You got a Thunder Tiger GP40 on there?
I thought he said that was a tower.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
that one.
take Power 40.
Good night, guys.
Good night,
Hey,
Sparky.
Hey, Sparky.
Good night, Sparky.
Good night,
see you,
Sparky.
Sparky.
What the hell is that?
He's
Sounds
like,
like a
"Listen."
compressor.
Somebody's got an air compressor going.
That's what it sounds like.
Is that you, Charles?
Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
It's
The,
very
the Tower
So what
40
motor's on that
relaxing
one,
thing.
Charles?
If you run a
I
9.4
was
on that, if you run a 9.4 on that other plane, you'll probably be right at 75 miles an hour.
yeah, maybe I think so. Now this is an ASP 25 on this one.
ASP 25.
Yeah.
Let me see the tail. That is a dedicated speed limit model. That's either a Yarrow or a Yavenko, and that's the elliptical wing with the carbon fiber trailing edge. That model is made specifically for speed limit. That's why it's got that little bit of an extension there.
Yeah.
On the trailing edge to the elevator.
Right.
It looks like somebody handmade some wooden motor mounts for it.
Yeah.
Those aren't stock. Usually they'll have aluminum motor mounts on it. But that's a current version of a speed limit plane. Those started getting cranked out just in the last like 4 years. They came out with that version with the longer. You saying boom is the wrong version or the wrong thing to say, but
Okay.
the tail is farther away from the trailing edge than most F2D models. They came out with this specifically for the ASP25 or the LA25 or the FP25 because what guys were doing was taking F2D models and putting 25s on them, but they were always nose heavy because the tail was right up against the trailing edge. So they extended the elevator on them and put it farther away. So you could just take a bone stock 25 and put it on there and go fly it.
Yeah.
That's a great airplane.
Yeah, it's my favorite flying plane as far as combat. But I've never flown combat with someone else in the circle with me.
Well, they're great fun. They're good practice model. And when it's windy, there's nothing like a combat model to fly in windy conditions.
Charles, does that look familiar or similar?
Let me see. Hang on. Yeah.
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 Same thing.
Now this is a straight trailing edge.
Right, instead of my boat.
Like yours.
Yeah, mine's boat.
But I mean, everything right there, that extension from the trailing edge to the elevator is identical to yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you have there is either a Yarrow, which is a YMS model, or it's a Yavenko.
Yeah,
It's Russian. They're all Russian.
Right.
So Russian speed limit combat planes.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what do you mean by speed limit? So are they held to a certain speed that you can't exceed, or what?
Correct. 75 miles an hour.
Okay.
75 mile an hour speed limit. They fly 80 on the West Coast, but everywhere else in the U.S. it's 75.
So how do they know you're not exceeding 75?
They time you. You got to fly.
You got to fly so many level laps.
2 level laps, and you can't be faster than 6.85 seconds for 2 laps.
Okay.
That's exactly 75 miles an hour. 6.85 for 2 level laps. So during a match, your center marshal is timing as soon as you go up, you fly level, so the center marshal can time you. And once you're good, you're good. Then they don't usually check you again during the match.
Gotcha.
But if you're flying like 6.2 seconds for 2 laps, you're too fast. You're over the limit. And the other reason for the limit is AMA requires anything that goes faster than 80 miles an hour, or I'm sorry, anything faster than 75, you have to have a shutoff on the airplane. So these planes don't require shutoffs if you're under the speed limit. You don't
So
have to have,
what do you do if you're over the speed limit? Do you go less pitch and prop, or you just play with the needle, or
you can do either. You can, but you have, if they tell you you're too fast, you got to put it down. So you got to ground it. You got to stick it in dirt.
right?
Then after you change your prop, because you probably broke your prop, you can either put the same prop on and richen the motor up, or go down one pitch. So if
Okay.
you're running typically on a 25, you run between 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. So if you're running an 8.6 and you're too fast, you go down to an 8.4. You know, if you're running 8.5, you go down to an 8.4.
All right.
But the whole reason for speed limit is to avoid the shut control, because anything that goes faster than 75, you got to have some type of shut off, either a mechanical swing arm shut off, a line shut off. It doesn't have to be on demand. It has to be that if your lines are cut and the airplane is in free flight, the engine has to stop.
So you've got a cutoff on that one. How does that one work? I think you got a cutoff, right?
No,
It looks like.
no, there's no.
Oh no. Okay,
There's
I'm
no
just seeing.
cutoffs on these planes.
All right, I'm just seeing some sort of a lead out. Looks like up near the front of the engine there.
You're
The tiller.
seeing the engine restraint. This is a cable. You have to have 027 cable from the engine to the bell crank. This is a restraint.
Oh,
So that
okay.
in the event of a crash, your engine doesn't haul ass across the circle while it wouldn't still be running because the bladder will be gone. But so the engine doesn't become a missile.
I got you.
It stays attached to the airplane.
Okay,
Even if the
cool.
airplane is destroyed, we're hoping that this cable keeps the engine with the airplane so it's not a projectile.
Right, I got you.
You guys hear that John Brodak does not have cancer?
Yeah.
Yep. That's good news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect news.
Good news.
Well, it must have been everybody's prayer.
Got a good buddy here, man, that is giving you combat planes, man. That's awesome.
Talking to me, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bought that one off of him, but he fixed. I have a Matador, a vintage one, in my garage, and I have a Voodoo that I built as a kid, and I have these other two. So I have like 4 combat planes.
Awesome.
And yeah, when the Greg Hill and comes out and Stuart Mossman, and then there's Darren Albert with me. Sometimes we get together and we fly combat.
You're gonna love it, man.
Jamie,
Hey,
how's
Jamie.
your vector coming?
It's coming along.
Hey Jim, you should see my vector. You might want it instead.
What one you got there now? What airplane you got
Was
there
that-
upside down?
Who are you talking to, Steve?
Jamie.
Oh, that's a gypsy. I was just taking the muffler out.
What is it?
It's just a gypsy 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two different design gypsies. They had the regular one size, like Brodak cells, and that one's the 35.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of gone to shit since Jamie got on there. Can we do something? Or is anybody else having trouble?
Seems to be okay to me. The pictures are a bit fuzzy tonight, but it's still working.
In just a second, let me turn his controls down and see what happens.
I've lost everybody's video.
Uh-oh. Let me
Might
see
be a
here.
bit of a problem. Oh, I've lost Jamie.
Let me see.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm turning him off. Hang on.
let me see here.
Did anything
I
clear up?
feel Gerald. I have everybody. Mike, you're frozen. Mike, you're black. You're frozen
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Mike's frozen for me.
Yeah.
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 And I'm still moving.
All right, I'm going to let you come
I
back.
thought Frank was frozen, but he finally spoke.
I don't know what I had to do without you riding me all night long, Steve.
I don't know. You gotta pick on somebody.
Oh,
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't pick on you.
All right.
But
bit of banter, eh? Keep it moving along.
oh, they're both gone now. Well, here comes Mike back again.
Yeah, let me let him in. I can't seem to get Jamie's camera to work. All right, hang on, Mike. I'm clicking you back in now.
Can you hear us, Jamie?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he's nice and clear, but can't see him.
Hold on. Let me back out and come back in.
All right.
All right, everybody still here?
Yeah.
We're doing okay.
Yeah, Jamie.
Okay, I got everybody now.
All right, we're waiting for Jamie to come back in.
There he is.
Yep, okay.
All right, here we go. All right.
Okay.
Oh, everybody's back on.
Yeah, I think we're okay now.
I haven't seen you for a while, Jamie. You been busy?
Oh yeah. All kinds of things going on. But yeah, as I was saying, that was a Gypsy 35. It's in the regular Gypsy. But as for the Vector, I got one side sheeted, and I just did the push rod the other day, or started. So it's just basically when the mood suits is when I've been getting on it.
Cool.
Hey, Charles, Jeffrey Riley asked you a question over on YouTube. Did you see it?
Oh no, I didn't see it. Let me go back over there. Hang on.
Anybody heard from Tom lately?
Earlier this week, his dad having some issues again.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Messing with that.
Let me see here. Jeff Riley.
Hold on 1 second. I let the dog out.
A Tiger 35, huh, Jeffy? What kind of a Tiger? Is it the C35 or is it the V35?
Well, there's both. One's a plate bearing and one's a ball bearing.
I know you didn't say which one it is though. Say it's a Wilcox engine. Maybe he'll respond to what it is.
There was some last week.
Hey, Charles, if you get to the Nats, you got to bring that speed limit plane with you so we can fly a match, dude.
You know, I need to practice how to come in the circle with me first.
Bring that
It's Jeff Robertson's G21. That is a wicked motor.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, they are. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right. Yeah, that is a wicked motor. That would be that'd be a blast to try one of those.
Which one is it?
It's the G21.
The C35 or
A little bit. I flew with mine.
He's saying it's a G21 35.
Well, I know, but there's two versions. There's a plain bearing and a ball bearing, and they're both good.
And they're both G21s?
Yeah. They're both G21s, but they made a plain bearing version like the LA, and then there's a ball bearing version.
Okay. Well, maybe
like,
he'll respond.
Like FX.
I have the C35.
That's a plain bearing motor, but it'll still run like stink on a bladder, man. It'll still go like hell. I mean, that was the combat motor of the 70s.
Okay.
You know, just they like a lot of oil, you know. That's all. But they'll run like stink, man. I've got one on an old vintage combat plane up here.
He's saying it's ball bearing.
Okay, well, that one's even better, man.
Yeah, that's the wicked one.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I've
is.
had one of those. Those things are scary.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they'll go. You can get them going 100, 110. No problem.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
On a voodoo or something like that, a voodoo or a combat cat, they'll go 100 easily.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that motor. Right now my plate's kind of full. I need to get ready for this. I need to worry about stunt.
No. You need to make sure in the back of your head when you come to the Nats that your combat plane, that one with the ASP-25, you need to bring that so we can go have some fun and fly some practice matches.
All right.
Get out there in a circle with somebody else. I'll put Sammy out there with you. He'll take it easy on you.
And that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even if you don't bring anything, I'll let you fly some of my beaters, man, and we'll get out there and just go at it with some of my junkers. You know.
All righty. As I'll be out there hopefully all week. I mean, I know stunt is from the July 14th to the 20th. So
it's a lot of fun.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's the stunt.
Yeah, well, for advanced.
Okay.
And I think Sunday is beginner and intermediate.
Sunday's beginner and intermediate, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday is team trials. They're having the team trials for combat at the Nationals this year. So
wow.
Starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be team trials. And Sunday is intermediate and beginner. Monday will be F2D fast. Or I'm sorry, just regular F2D. Regular F2D. Tuesday will be F2D fast. Wednesday will be speed limit. Thursday will be half A, and Friday will be big block fast at the Nat. So there's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's going to be 7 days of combat at the Nats this year because they're running the team trials the weekend.
Wow.
I don't know why they don't do that for stunt.
Well, they hold the team trials at different places for stunt than they do. I mean, and it happens with combat too. It's not always at the Nats. Sometimes
It has been for the last 6 years that I know of.
Sometimes the team trials for combat are in Detroit or in Texas or in Arizona. You know, they like it when it's at the Nats because all the guys that fly F2D are going to be in Muncie anyway. So they can have
exactly. That's my whole point. Anybody who's got the best flyers are going to be at the Nats. That's the time to do the team trials.
Yeah, but it's the same in combat as it is in stunt. They don't always have team trials at Muncie. You know, they just don't do it that way.
Well, stunt never has them at Muncie.
Oh, they never have them. Okay,
they never.
Okay.
Huh.
I mean, it's been they didn't have
the
last 2 years at the Nationals. They had them 3 years ago, and now they're having them again. So, you know, 4 years it's coming back to the Nats team trials.
Well, they've had the team trials at the Nats ground. I mean, at the AMA, but not during the Nats. They'll bring everybody in a different week.
No, for combat, they always bring them in the weekend before National combat starts. Because Nationals combat starts on Monday. So they'll do the team trial Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Nationals combat starts on Monday and runs through Friday.
Well, just one point of interest. Right, you said they've got a fast F2D and a slow F2D. What's the difference between those two?
Okay, so regular F2D it's 15s, 2 airplanes, pitman. You can change airplanes if you crash an airplane.
Yeah.
There's rules on muffler sizes and Venturi restrictions and stuff like that. So F2D is the FAI combat deal. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So F2D Fast is an AMA event.
Oh,
It's not an FAI event. It's an AMA event.
yeah.
But there's no rules on muffler sizes other than shutoffs. You got to have a shutoff on the airplane. But it's fast 15s, and it allows people to use older equipment that's no longer legal for F2D because they've changed the restrictions on the motors. FAI rules for F2D have changed so much over the years.
I've heard that.
In the last 10 years, it's changed. So some of the equipment becomes outdated and not legal for FAI F2D. So they've got another event for American guys called F2 Fast, where you can use the older motors with the bigger mufflers, and the airplanes fly faster. And then it's just regular fast combat rules. One airplane, just one airplane, and you fly for kills. Kills in airtime.
What's the speed difference between the two?
I think it's a lot. I think they go quite a bit quicker because they're able to open up the exhaust on them.
Yeah.
But again, it's only one airplane and it's kills rules. Whereas in F2D, you can have two airplanes, take the streamer off and put it on another plane. And there's all that other crazy shit that goes with F2D about when you can get your airplane, when you can change the streamer, and your pitman can foul you out. You know, your pitman can lose a match for you if he does the wrong thing at the wrong time. So F2D Fast is basically like fast combat or speed limit combat. You're flying for cuts and kills, but one airplane. And it just allows guys that have older, outdated equipment to fly another event.
That sounds sensible.
That's what Fast is, yeah. And it's on 52s. You know, you're flying on 52s.
Yeah.
Well.
What sort of speed do they top out on that?
You know, I don't know what the speed is because I don't fly F2D, Gerald.
Yeah.
I don't fly it. I did fly F2D Fast out in Phoenix like 4 years ago. I just happened to be out there. Actually, I was out there for a funeral, and a friend of mine lives in Phoenix, and he's a member of the club out there for flying F2D Fast. And I just showed up and flew his equipment. I didn't take any airplanes or anything because I don't own any of that stuff. Yeah. I just showed up and I flew 3 matches and I was out in 3. But it's 4s and profies, 15s on 52-foot lines. It's a hoot, man. I mean, it's a barn burner, sure. But you don't get to change airplanes. If you wreck your plane or you're down, you're done. Yeah. Whereas in F2D, you can change the streamer, and your pitman can fix that broken airplane if he can. Your pitman can fix the broken airplane. So if you crash the one you're flying, you can switch back to the other one. That's how F2D works.
Yeah.
So
looks like Charles is playing, but here we can see the.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I got that one. Oh.
Yeah. Mercy.
Yeah, see, that happened Tuesday of this week.
So what happened, Charles?
I was rolling out. You can see how clumpy the grass is.
I got showing tell.
Yeah.
You see how clumpy the grass is? Well, I was rolling out, and my plane hit a clump of grass and knocked it into the center of the circle. But I assume the inboard wheel hit a clump of grass, and the plane turned around, veered into the circle, and it was on the ground still, but then it started to take off over the center of the circle, went behind me. The lines were all slack. I had no control of the plane. And then at the end of the lines, the plane yanked, and then it came back. And again, the lines got slack. I had no control. And then, bam!
What was that?
Is the engine okay?
I'm still, I'll show you as a matter of fact here. Let me close this. Yeah, the motor's okay. It's just full of dirt.
Right.
I mean, it's just caked with dirt. And the fuselage is in 2 pieces. I have the other piece here in the garage. It's too much work to repair this plane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm hanging on to it for a while, but I imagine I'll finally just probably pull all the valuables out of it and throw it away.
Now, sometimes you can do a reasonable repair, but it's the weight you put on each time you repair them. That's always the killer, is that extra 2 or 3 ounces the repair
That
puts
looks
on.
like a pretty big repair job there.
Yeah, that's a really big repair job. I mean, the wings are sheared off. I mean, so I have the center section still inside the fuselage, and the fuselage is in 2 pieces, and it even ripped the canopy in a half. Yeah, so it's unfortunate.
Yes, it is. That's too bad, Charles.
Yeah, just like I went flying today with my Oriental, which I consider my redhead stepchild. Thing cannot fly in shadow. So.
Yeah, it's always like that when you put an
Aren't you
old
building a Cardinal?
No.
I thought you were building a Cardinal.
Frank's building a Cardinal.
Rusty's building a Cardinal.
Frank's building a Cardinal.
Oh, that's right.
My Cardinal's done.
Yeah, that's right. We named it recently.
I'm just waiting for decent weather to go out and fly.
Yeah, I just let the dog out. It's 2 degrees here.
Woo!
It's not that bad here. Later on in the week, they're expecting it to be single digits.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm gonna mail some of this cold weather down to Mike here tomorrow.
Yeah.
We already got it, man. We've been like 25 degrees for the last 3 or 4 days, and we're supposed to get 3 inches of snow this weekend. So,
Wow. If it was 25 degrees, I'd be out there in my shirt sleeves.
yeah. All right, you guys ready for some show and tell?
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we
I'm
go.
gonna go.
Quick on you, Mike.
Yep.
So, I told you guys last week, Monday, I ordered a couple of kits from Mike Hazel, Northwest Oregon guy, who was a jet speed guy. So this is the first one. This one is called a Tamigo. It's a sport jet kit from the 1960s. Mike Hoyt was the manufacturer of these. Now this one has external controls on it, so it's going to have an external bell crank, push rod, and elevator. But this is a kit from like 1961 to 65, somewhere in there. These are pristine, man. And look at this. It's got a metal elevator that's already hinged and ready to go.
Nice.
The wing has already got an airfoil to it. It's already carved. Very interesting kit, of course, for a pulse jet. And there's the hardware package for it. I was very, very happy to get that airplane. But even more than that, what I was more stoked about, of course, I told you guys my dad's old cat jet, which is a Mike Hoyt kit. And my dad built this one around 1961, 1962. That airplane is over 50 years old. And Mike Hazel had a brand new, unmolested Hoyt cat jet still in the box.
Wow.
So that is the identical airplane to that one right there that my dad built.
Wow.
And this is, look at that, Cat Jet by M.G. Hoyt in Newton, Iowa. Now, my dad bought this one out of the trunk of Mike's car at a contest in Detroit sometime in the early 60s. This one was shipped to somebody. But what's really crazy, what I think about is at some point, those two airplanes right there were probably in the same shop at the same time over 50 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
When Mike Hoyt built these kits and manufactured them in his shop, these two airplanes could have been sitting right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yep. Just like they are now.
Over 50 years later, they're sitting next to each other again.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
How big is that tank on that first one?
What's that?
How big is that fuel tank on that first model you showed us?
Man, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably 6 ounces.
Okay.
Probably 6. And you know, I think the one on the Cat Jet is probably the same. I think they're the same tanks.
I was gonna say there's not much difference in the looks of them.
Well, like I said, this one's going to have external control. So it'll have a bell crank on top of the wing with a push rod going directly to the horn. The Cat Jet has internal controls.
Oh, okay.
So they go in the wing, and then the bell crank is buried in the wing with the push rod running down to the elevator.
Are you going to bring either of those to Brodak?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have both of them ready to go, Frank. Absolutely.
All right, great.
So the other difference too, just real quick, if we look at the wings, the Cat Jet wing is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit shorter. Okay. And the other big difference is the size of the elevators. The trainer, the Tamigo trainer is what it's called. This is a much bigger elevator than the Cat Jet. So the trainer is the Tamigo is a bigger airplane. It has a bigger wing and a bigger elevator and the external control. So it's definitely.
So with that Cat Jet, you got to take and router a damn hold down the fuselage?
I do, yeah. Because what happens here is right in here, the bell crank gets situated in here. So you got to carve all this out, and then you got to carve a channel, and then you got to continue to carve a channel through here because this elevator actually goes this way. And the horn, the actual horn is buried in the fuselage down here. So, I mean, my old man built one of these things in 61 or 62. I don't know what the hell he used to carve all this shit out because he didn't have no Dremel back then. I can tell you that.
Probably just a chisel.
I'll be using. Yeah, I'm thinking a chisel is probably how he built it. Yeah, I'll be using a Dremel on it for sure. I'll be running a Dremel. So, and then those are, of course, those are Dad's motors, the original Dynajet. One of these planes is going to get the motor I bought from you, Charles.
Cool.
Yeah, one of these planes will get the motor that's coming from you.
Awesome.
I'm going to run both of these. I'm going to run on gasoline, just like the old school days, because the tanks are so small. Because we've only got 5.5, 6 ounces on the tank.
Yeah.
They'll run a long time on just regular gas. I'm not going to run them on the 80-20 nitro methanol because they won't run long enough.
Hey, how about Ave gas? Do they go any faster on like aviation fuel?
No, they won't. No, I don't think so. Of course, in the Hobby King, the Bolton T-34 with its gigantic ass tank, I run that one on the 80-20. But that's the reason the tank is so big. It's because I'm running the 80-20 nitromethanol. Back in the day, in the 60s, they weren't running nitromethane and methanol. They were running gasoline. That's why the tanks are so small, because you can get the mileage with gasoline. I could fly these on 80-20, but they would only, I'd probably only get about a 45-second run on them, and then they'd be out of fuel.
Wow.
So I'll run them on gasoline, and then I'll get 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Which, you got to remember, they're speed models. So the goal is get them off the ground, get your 2 or 3 laps before you're timed, and then you fly your however many laps timed, and then it quits, and you're done.
Do you have to change an orifice on your, I forget the name of it, the injector, if you change to a radically different fuel?
The flow jector, yeah, well, not the flow jector, just the metering jet, which is the part that goes into the flow ejector.
Uh,
So that
okay.
complete unit is called a flow ejector. That little brass part right there, that screws out. That's the actual metering jet that has the orifice in it, which is a specific size. So smaller for gasoline and bigger for the nitro mix.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just have to change the metering jets based on what I'm going to run. Which that was actually another good score from Mike Hazel. He had 4 brand new metering jets in here. Buddy, this stuff is like unobtainium, man. This shit right here is rare as unicorn farts, man. It really is. To be able to find that stuff, it's hard. It's hard. So, and then I can drill these out to different sizes. Obviously, I can't go any smaller, but I can make them bigger if I need be. So that was a Christmas present today that showed up. Very exciting for me.
Very nice.
I'm most stoked about the cat jet. I mean, I just think about that and the fact that, you know, those planes were made from the same tools in the same shop by the same guy over 55 years ago.
Oh, that's very inspiring. Nice to see your father's one and your one side by side and know that they'll both be flying again. That's quite neat.
You gonna paint that one yellow to match your dad's?
No.
No?
No, because Dad's was originally orange.
Oh.
It was originally orange, like Glamorous Glennis. That's how Dad had it painted with the American flag. I had to redo it in yellow in the 90s because I could not get orange epoxy paint when I refurbished the model in the 90s. I could only get yellow, so I did it in yellow.
Okay.
But I am definitely, the new one is going to be orange, and it's going to be exactly the way Dad built it back in the 60s.
How did you get the old epoxy paint off of it?
I sanded the piss out of it, man.
I bet that took a lot of elbow grease.
Yeah, I did. It was so deteriorated and cracked, though. I mean, even when I refurbished the model in the mid-90s, I mean, Christ, it was over 30 years old then, you know?
Yeah.
So it came off pretty easy. But yeah, I'm gonna do an homage to Dad, and I'm gonna do it orange and put the same flag stickers on it and the whole 9 yards. I'm running on gas just like he did. Because it worked fine for us for many years. You know, they're not as fast on gasoline. They don't run as fast, and you blow through a lot more reeds. You'll chip reeds and break reeds more often. But I'm not trying to set any speed records or win anything. I'm just flying them for fun, you know.
All right.
But yeah, hopefully both of these will be ready to fly at Brodax.
Oh, that'll be great.
I mean, I've always got the Bolton T-34. That one's just been gone through and ready to go. So I'll have at least one of these ready to go at Brodax. Hopefully both. And when I get Charles's engine, I won't have to worry about swapping engines between planes because I'll have 4 pulse jets for 3 speed models, and then another Dynajet for the stunt plane that's in the works too. So
okay,
very cool.
Well, it's a pity they're so little made for them that you've got to scrounge around, and obviously breaking reeds would be a bit of a worry if you can't get any new parts.
Reeds aren't a problem. Reeds actually aren't a problem because even though the Hobby King Pulse Jet which I think I've already shown you, the Chinese Hobby King Pulse Jet, it's metric on the ring and the flow ejector and all that, but the reeds are identical. Hobby King reeds will work on a Dynajet. I'm running them now. So And
they still?
The
Sorry,
reeds from Hobby King were $2.50 for 5 reeds.
Oh, that's good.
Do you know how many I have, Gerald? Over 100.
Wow.
Yeah. I bought over 100 of them.
Mm.
I did 20 orders of a 5-pack. So fortunately, the reeds are interchangeable, but the other parts are not, because this is metric and that's English. So
Hobby King still making them though, or has Hobby King stopped making them or supplying them?
They do not make. They're out of stock, and no plans to make any in the future. Although I've heard rumblings that they were gonna make them again. You know, I mean, it's supposed to be a Dynajet clone, but it's not perfect. But the reeds are interchangeable. The metering jets and the flow ejectors are not. And you can't screw a Hobby King head onto a Dynajet tailpipe, or vice versa. You can't screw a Dynajet head onto a Hobby King tailpipe.
Well, at least you got your reeds. You're well set up for the future anyway.
I've got the reeds, and even though, you know, the motor Charles is sending me does not have the flow ejector, I got on the PulseJet Facebook page today, and also on the Control Line Flying Facebook page, put out a call for flow ejectors, and I've had 2 different guys answer up. They're going to be able to send me a flow ejector for the engine that I just purchased from Charles.
Very cool.
Yeah, your motor's going to run, dude. It's going to fly this summer. I promise you. I didn't buy it to collect it or to look
I'm out
at
here,
it or
guys.
to resell it.
All right, see you later, Steve.
See you, Steve.
See ya.
Bob Bishop just dropped into YouTube. Good evening, Bob. You're late.
You know, Mike, there's a YouTube channel out there, a guy in New Zealand, I think it's RC Model Reviews. It's the name of the channel. He's got a video out there on a bunch of PulseJet RC planes that he runs. And I think one of them shows you how to make your own reeds.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, you do it by etching, acid etching. You got to trace on a piece of metal.
Right.
And electrolysis, and you dip them in and you do it. I watched that video like 10 years ago when I was running out of reeds, because I used to buy my reeds from a guy named Gene Hempel in Texas. He ran a company called P&G Metal Products. He's a big jet speed guy all through the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I used to send him $20, and he'd send me 10 reeds in the mail. But unfortunately, he passed away in the 90s. So the U.S. supply of reeds dried up. Hence the guy that made the YouTube video about how to make your own. And I looked at that very seriously because, I mean, reeds are like the unobtainium part. Like I said, reeds used to be as rare as unicorn farts. You know, they were hard to get. It was one of them parts that they break because you use them and you can't get replacements.
Yeah.
Well, you know, 6 years ago, Hobby King came out with this jet, and fortunately, the reeds work, and they're dirt cheap. So the work of actually scribing the metal and doing the electrolysis process, the acid etching and all that to make reeds, I don't need to do that. I got 100
Not
of
at
them.
that price, right?
Not at that price. I got 100 of them, man. That's a lifetime for me anyway. But it was a very interesting video on how he did it.
Yeah.
You know, I seriously considered it there for sure. That's what actually got me. I stopped flying my PulseJets for a while because I ran out of reeds and I didn't have a source. And I'm like, man, I'm not going through that to make a bunch of reeds. You know, I'm just not that diehard, I guess.
Right.
You know,
It's
it's a
interesting.
little ambitious for me.
Yeah, I noticed when I was reading around, they were saying Hobby King isn't stocking all these different motors. Yeah, they're not stocking all the ASPs and a whole lot of the Chinese motors. They said, well, who's stocking those Chinese motors? Who's selling the ASPs or the Magnums?
Nobody. Unobtainium, man.
Yeah, no. What I read was Just Engines in England are still doing small volumes. So they're obviously going back to the supplier he was probably making the OS engines now in China, and they were getting small batches of engines through. So maybe they could secure in the long term things like pulse jet parts, because they cost 3 times as much when you get them through just engines, and that's probably how they justify it, because they're paying more to the manufacturer and they're charging a whole lot more at the supply end than what Hobby King did. But it still works in the sense that there's a market for it now because of the fact they've dried up. So maybe the reeds will come back, but they'll be $10 each in the future.
Well, no, I should clarify. You cannot buy this from Hobby King anymore. They have reeds. They have reeds and they have flow ejectors. Okay? But you can't buy any other parts. And you can buy the spark plug from them too, the one that they make. You can buy the spark plug. You can buy the reeds. You can buy the flow ejector. You can't buy a head. You can't buy a locking ring. And you can't buy a tailpipe. And you can't buy a complete engine. But they have still good stock on the other parts. But I bought 10 flow ejectors and 100 reeds. But they're only good for this engine. I can't use them on the Dynajet.
Yeah. So if you picked up a Hobby King motor, buy the parts while they're still available, and you manage to keep it going for a while.
Absolutely.
Bob Bishop's talking about reeds over on the tube, and he said that they were etching reeds back in the 60s, and said that was Bruce Simpson in New Zealand.
Gerald.
Yes.
Do you know who that is, Gerald?
Yeah, I've heard about it, but he lives in quite far
That
from where I
was the guy I was mentioning that has the RC Model Reviews channel.
Yeah.
Bruce Simpson, yeah, I know him.
Quite famous, yeah.
But Gerald, this pipe is 55 years old. It's still fine. It's still fly. It's got 1,000 flights on it.
Wow.
This head is 55 years old.
This is great.
This is vintage Dynajet shit. Nothing wears out or breaks on them except the reed. Unless you crash a model. If you crash the model, you might bend the pipe when it's hot or crack the pipe or something like that. But if you got a good guy that can weld stainless, they can be fixed. They can be fixed. So it's not an issue of anything but the reeds is really the main thing. This engine has at least 1,000 flights on it. It's over 50 years old.
The reeds are like the heart valves. I suppose the reeds are the heart valves and the flow vectors the little brain. But they're the main bits. But yeah, it's interesting. I know there's a guy in our club, an Auckland Free Flight Club, that was big into pulse jets, and he had an OS pulse jet. But I know he's flying some pulse jet, but not in Auckland. He drives all the way down to Plymouth, hundreds of kilometres away to fly his pulse jet.
He's flying OS jets?
I believe he's got an OS jet. I don't know if that was the one he was flying, but he was flying a pulse jet. I'm not sure what manufacturer that was. I'd have to check with him if I see him tomorrow.
The OS jet was a Japanese version. Obviously, it's OS. A little smaller than the Dynajet, which is American made. And then there was the Tiger Jet. And I'm not sure who made the Tiger Jet, but that's even smaller. It's like half the size of a Dynajet. Much smaller pulse jet engine. And then there's MEWs, which was Model Engine Works. I believe that was an English pulse jet of similar size to the Dynajet.
Yeah. No, I liked in the old flying scale models handbook they had Walter Musiani, I think his name is, and he had a T-34 shooting powered by a pulse jet, scale model powered by a pulse jet, and I just thought that was wicked. That was really amazing. As a kid, I used to always look at the pictures thinking, wow, pulse jet scale model. But I think he had
my dad built a MiG-15 with a pulse jet, Dynajet inside it. You can still buy the plans on eBay. MiG-15. There was 2 sets of plans for American models. Well, they were made in America anyway. MiG-15 and the F-86 Sabre jet.
Yeah.
pulse jets in the fuselage, full fuselage model with a pulse jet inside it. My dad built a MiG-15 somewhere in the mid-'60s that had a pulse jet in it, and my brother and I flew it a few times after his death, but it caught fire on us, and the model burned up. It had, now listen how crazy this shit is, man. It had an asbestos-lined fuselage. Dad had asbestos lined in the fuselage. You couldn't even build something like that today, man.
Yeah,
But
I think
it was a scale MiG-15, man.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find the book. If I find the book.
Dad scratch built this thing, man. He scratch built this thing. But it always caught on fire, and it was hard to start because it didn't have enough air intake, and it was a pain in the ass to start because you had to take the canopy off to get everything in there to start it, and then you put the canopy on and send it, and it was a pig. And it only flew about 85 miles an hour. It wasn't fast. Because it was a scale MiG. It was heavy. It was heavy as shit. So it didn't fly super fast, and it was way out of balance. It was very hard to fly, but it was a unique model for sure.
Yeah, it's just quite neat looking at the technology and the struggle, the technical skills needed to make something like that work.
Right. Well, it didn't work all the time. It was a huge pain in the ass. And I know that's why Dad only flew it a few times. There's only a few photographs of him actually flying the model back in the 60s. And then it hung in the basement. And when he passed away in 1985, my brother and I were like, hell, let's get this out, man. We're going to try to make it fly. And we struggled and struggled and struggled. I mean, it was like 30 minutes of work to get 1 2-minute flight. And then another 30 or 40 minutes of work to get another 2-minute flight. And eventually it caught fire on us, and the entire model was destroyed,
Bad, but it happened. But I suppose the early fan jets, the ducted fan models were very hard to fly. And when you look at the electric ducted fan models now, it's so easy by comparison. You'd think an electric ducted fan scale jet would be the way to go, control line. It would be so
Absolutely. Easy. Yeah, but it's not a pulse jet.
No.
Look at the early ducted fan RC models I want to say they came out in the mid 80s to late 80s, and they were putting 60s in these things just to get them off the ground. The early ducted fan nitro models had 60s in them. And they were pigs. They were all pigs. They were very heavy, and they didn't fly well. Speed is your friend. They had to be going so fast just to stay in the air, just because that's the nature of a jet type airplane with the airfoil that's involved.
All the air that comes out of the back has to go in the front.
It does. Yeah, ducted fan IC motor models. They were very interesting and very neat in the mid to late 80s, but none of them flew worth a shit because they just didn't have the thrust, thrust of weight, And back then, I don't think guys were worried about building super light. It was all about building strong, and the wood was heavy, and everybody was heavy with the epoxy and the paint and all that because they wanted a nice looking scale model. I saw bunches of them, but let's just say this. Who flies an internal combustion engine ducted fan model today? Nobody. Nobody. It was tried. It was done. A few guys were successful, but nobody's messing with that shit today. You put a turbine in it, and there you go. Now you got the power. The power.
I've seen some control line. I think there was a chap in England made a Hawker Harrier with a turbine jet control line. But pretty rare, expensive, and again, it's still difficult. It's not as easy as putting a Rossi 60 on and having a speed model like that with a conventional propeller-driven speed model. And that's where I think the pulse jets remain largely control line anyway. Its simplicity suits control line, and the drama suits control line.
I'm ready to do an RC pulse jet, man. I saw a guy. There's a YouTube video with a guy with a Tower 40 trainer. you know, or Eagle 63, a high wing trainer. This cat in India had one of these Hobby King pulse jets mounted on a 40 sized RC trainer, a high wing trainer with dihedral in the wing, bolted a pulse jet to the front, and it was successful. He flew the shit out of it, man.
Seems a waste of time, though. Bit like
No,
putting a
it's not a waste of time. Man, go make some noise, piss off the neighbors, and have fun.
Little point to it. I suppose it's interesting from a technical point of view, but to see it on a control line mold close and those few seconds it runs, it's incredible. You know, when you hear them start up, and it's all over so quick, but more dramatic in a way. It's loud, it's fast, and it's all over with in the blink of an eye, virtually. It's like when you hear the pulse jets flying or running, people will often come running in to see it happen, and it's all over.
It's over.
Yeah.
We just gas up real quick and do another one, man. I'm telling you, I was doing 4 or 5 flights a night at Brodax with mine, and 4 or 5 a night at the Nats on the speed circle with mine. I've got the system figured out. They start, it's 1 or 2 pump starts, boom, boom, it's going. Pit crew lets it go, and we figured out how to launch them. I've had a lot of success with them. So
it's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll have this other guy's brain in our club and see whether I should actually give it a go. I don't think I'd be that successful at it. I'm not that serious a person, but it might be worth it just to say I tried it. I'm sure the boys would like the drama.
Absolutely. I just fly them for fun. I mean, I don't compete at the Nats, Gerald. I just go there and use the speed cage at the Nats because it's a place that I can go do it. I don't enter competition. I'm not breaking any records. I just want to go make noise and have fun, you know? So your boys were the same age I was. My dad had me and my 2 neighbor kids, Kevin and Danny. We were all, 9, 10, 11 years old. We were my dad's pit crew. Dad was in the circle, and we started the jet. One of us would pump, one of us would push the buzz box, and one of us would hold it. I mean, these are 3 10-year-old boys starting my dad's pulse jet. He showed us what to do. He told each of us our job, and we were out there starting and launching so he could fly it.
Oh, wow.
Go find 3 10-year-old boys today that'd be willing to do that. I can't get Sam to do it yet, and he's 10. I showed him these planes. I'm like, you're going to be flying these this year. He's like, no, I'm going to wait another year. I'm like, well, you can at least be the buzz box guy. You can push the button, right? You can push the button and pull the clips. He's like, well, maybe. And when I was his age, and my dad was like, hey, you're going to do this. Danny, you're going to do that. Kevin, you're going to do this. We were all like, okay, let's go. We want to see this thing go. We were excited to see it and hear it and be a part of it,
Sam's a cautious sort of a guy, huh?
Just the way that, the fact that he trusted us to do this when we were 10 and 11 years old was huge, man. We were doing shit that other kids don't get to do.
People grow with that responsibility. That's the way they improve. They get stronger from taking those responsibilities on. It was at our nationals. I had a similar instance where my main helper was normally my wife, and she was tied up with other things. It was largely family matters she was trying to sort out on the phone with her sister. And so Otto had to do all the pitting, and there were 3 of us virtually flying at the same time. And he just said, this is hard work, Dad. This is really hard work. We're running between, like I said, we had 6 models set up. We were flying 2 events at once, and we were running between circles just trying to get these models running. And we'd be flying 2. Max might be flying his model scale, and we were flying Stunt in the other circle. And it was hell in terms of running around, but it was satisfying to see them rise to the occasion and manage what was a difficult task.
Absolutely. I finally got Sam launching my models at stunt contests. He's my launcher. Sam's my launcher. He's my guy, man.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
He's not launching combat wings yet. He's still sketchy on that. He won't do that. But At least he'll be my holder on my stunt plane, you know?
That's cool.
That's very cool. That's very cool, man.
I got them starting my models, and they'll hand launch for me a combat model, whatever. But the main thing they're wary of is just flicking that propeller, especially when they get whacked by the prop. So I just say, well, use the electric start, bung the electric start on. There's no risk to your hands, and they're normally quite cool with that. They don't mind if there's an electric start there.
That's great, man. That's great. I need to put an 049 on a board and give Sam a battery and a syringe full of fuel and be like, listen, man, go get your fingers nicked on this safety prop and learn how to start these motors, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. He's at that age where you get a bit of the thrill out of starting it. When they actually get them to start themselves and they have a go tuning it, then they get a real feel for it too.
Absolutely. You're right, Gerald. I mean, what kid wouldn't love to do that, right? To have the responsibility of starting an engine and tweaking the needle and getting it right.
Yeah, that'd be the ultimate cool to me.
I think so.
That's where the electric's taken some of that away, because the people look at you and they think, what are you doing? Why are you flicking that propeller? And a stranger comes onto the field and they have never seen a glow engine before. It's quite strange, because it was a big part of the thrill for me as a kid, was just starting them. And in a way that on that.
The smell, man.
Yeah.
And when you rub your eye when you got fuel on it,
or later in life when you wear glasses and you get greasy thumbprints all over and you can't see.
That's the best part, man. That's the best part.
Or when your jeans smell like fuel all week long when you're done.
Well, it's funny. The other day when my wife and I have got two identical cars, but my one's got the castor oil smell to it, and the kids hop in the car and they said, "We like your car, Dad. It's got that castor oil smell to it. It's got the smell of fuel in the car all the time. It reminds us of flying." And yeah, it's quite funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Well, guys, I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah.
So,
do the same.
Catch you around next time.
I look forward to meeting you at Brodax. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, Mike.
Going head to head in half A, man.
Yeah.
Come up with.
All right.
It'll be fun.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Frank.
I should get moving as well. I know there's all these tasks, and I've got to get models ready for the morning, so I should probably call quits as well, and get some models. I've got to paint up that pizzazz so I can fly it in the morning. Put some epoxy all over it, so I'll get onto that and help my wife tidying up and heat up the dinner. I made the dinner last night. I'll often do a dinner for 2 nights so I can have time off. So I cooked a big stew that we can have tonight as well. So I'll say it's been great talking, and it's nice looking at your Dynajet models, Mike, and yeah, it's good to have a network with everybody, and I'll say good night.
Always good to talk to you, Gerald.
Always,
All right, good night, Gerald. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good night.
Who's next?
I'm in. I'm still in. What's James doing, man? What are you doing? Your mic is off.
Overhauling a Killer B motor.
Killer B.
Oh man,
a new shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in my little Satan to try to fly it tomorrow.
Okay, are you in a new shop? You look like you got more room there.
Oh no, I got an actual webcam, and I just got it mounted above my TV.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you got into your new place, man. I saw you posting. Looks like you're maybe going to be moving into a new house or something.
Yeah, looking at buying a new house.
Awesome, awesome.
And so,
your shop looks much bigger from this view.
The spare bedroom, you mean?
Hey, Mike, your signal, audio, and video is way better now than it was a week or so ago. You got the cable company out to put new equipment in or something?
I told you last time, man. I went through 3 modems and 3 routers.
Oh, that's right.
Weeks, yeah. 3 modems and 2 routers in 2 weeks, and they finally got me some good shit. So yeah,
it worked great. Yeah, I forgot you had told me that.
Hey, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm not hanging up, but
okay. So I'm gonna walk to the kitchen too. I'll be right back. So Jamie, you're in charge while we're gone.
Got it. There you go to the Charles.
Hey, Jamie.
You going to the Nets?
Yeah, man, I'm going to go to the Nets.
Cool. I'm hoping I can still go.
Yeah, we're putting plans together. I mean, I'm going to be doing it on faith, hoping I can afford it all, But how I've got,
I mean,
go ahead.
that's my issue is whether to go.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go just this once and just go there and be one and done. And my wife, she lives in, my wife's family lives in Ohio. And so what I'm thinking is my wife and kids will stay in Ohio. And from what I hear, where they live is in Minster, Ohio. It's about an hour, 2 hours away from Muncie. So I'm hoping to
use that to your advantage.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna go. See you later, and go hang out at the Nats. I haven't secured a roommate or how I'm gonna stay or anything at the Nats yet. So I'm still got to work that out.
Yeah. From what I hear, from what I was told, what is it, Ball State? I think that's by there.
Yeah.
Some college that's by there. The best area to stay in because it's not that far, and I think it's just just in general the area with the people around it ain't bad, and my hotel is right there by it as well. So I mean I still got my room reserved.
I can tell you from experience, having gone there several years in a row, and I have rooms reserved too. If you stay in Muncie, there's always a triathlon going on that week, one of those weekends, and hotel rooms are hard to get. And you're going to pay between 80 and 110 bucks a night to stay in Muncie, okay? I mean, like 10 or 15 minutes from the field. It's going to be 80 to 110 bucks a night.
Yeah.
But if you go to Anderson, which is just a 20-minute drive, 20 or 25 minutes a night, or 20 or 25-minute drive, you can get rooms in Anderson, Indiana, for between $45 and $60 a night.
Okay.
So Anderson is definitely economical, but it's 25, 30-minute drive from the AMA headquarters.
Okay.
Muncie.
Yeah, because I originally had a room booked in Anderson, but I changed it, and I just didn't want to be as far away from it. So I went from having a whole week long stay for like 400 and something to staying at the Wynn by Ball State, and that comes out to $91 a night. And
yeah, it's twice as much basically to stay in Muncie as it is to stay in Anderson. And I've done both. It's not bad driving back and forth to Anderson. It's really not. The only issue you're going to have with that is it's nice to be in Muncie because you fly in the morning and then you want to go back to your hotel, maybe take a little nap, maybe take a swim if you got your kids. And then you can come back to the field that evening to fly. And it's only a 5-minute drive versus a 25 to 30-minute drive to Anderson.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Anderson's about 25 miles away. So,
because I got my rooms reserved.
During the middle of the day, there's nothing happening out at Muncie. Everyone comes out early in the morning, and then by 2 o'clock, they're gone. And then everyone comes back out after dinner at like 6 o'clock till dusk. But from like 2 to 6, Muncie's pretty much a ghost town. A lot of people are. I mean, there's still guys out there doing shit, but the majority of people are not there. They're back at the hotel having lunch, having dinner, and then they come out again in the evening. So the deal with staying in Anderson is you got that 30-minute commute back and forth. If you stay in Muncie, convenience of a 5-minute commute. Ball State is 5 minutes from Muncie, or from the AMA flying site.
Okay. Yeah, but
so save money by, if you're willing to drive back and forth a little bit, you can save money. But the convenience of being close is, you're 5 minutes away versus 30 minutes away.
yeah, I'm trying to avoid to rent a car. That's gonna be another expense I can't afford. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, like me, I got them reserved from the 13th to the 20th. And at this present moment, if I'm going, I don't plan on being there that long. So I may cut out the 13th, and pretty much week, be there from Monday to Friday, more or less, and save some change on that. But I mean, it's still all up in the air. If I can afford it, but if I get this house, my budget opens up a bit more. So, and then my dad may be coming with me, so that cuts my costs in half as well.
Well, we'll be there from Saturday to Saturday. So we're looking at 7 days in Muncie.
Yeah, because I mean, with 7 days, my rooms are like over 600 for the week. So I mean, that ain't terrible for 7 days.
Well, we got to be there on Sunday for Sam, because Samuel will be flying intermediate this year because he won beginner last year. So he's going to fly intermediate, unofficial stunt event. And then our combat events start later in the week on Wednesday. But then Sam will fly Pampa stunt on Saturday morning. He'll fly junior Pampa. So we're there for 7 days regardless. But it don't matter. We'll have 2 off days where we're not doing anything. But we'll just practice, and Sam and I will fly some matches for shits and grins, and we'll fly the shit out of the pulse jets too. That's what we do. We go over there on the speed cage and fly the pulse jets for fun.
Yeah, and really what it kind of boils down to is that I get this vector finish in time too. Because if I don't get the vector done, then Nats ain't happening. Because I definitely ain't going to the Nats with a twister.
I don't fly stunt at the Nats. Well, I won't this year because I'm out of intermediate, and I won't be flying advanced because it will conflict with my combat events. So I'm not flying stunt this year at the Nationals, just combat events, and then fun flying the jets and shit. But I got to be there for Sam so he can try to whoop up on some of these old boys in intermediate. I'd like him to win intermediate as a junior and beat the the adults that are in it as well.
Sure, absolutely.
How's his intermediate pattern looking? Has he been able to practice and get it all down?
No, we haven't flown since Huntersville.
Really?
He'll get there though. By the Nats, he should have the pattern down because we'll be at Brodax for a week, and that's when we're just going to turn him loose on all the rest of the maneuvers and all that shit. So hopefully by the Nats,
he ought to be nailing it by then. Yeah,
I would like him to win intermediate as a junior, and then even more, Pampa stunt as a junior to repeat and win that again. Because that is 2 separate events.
Yeah.
He won beginner. That's unofficial event. Intermediate is an unofficial event. But he will fly junior, senior, open Pampa stunt on Saturday on the L-pad. And I'd like him to win as a junior. And if he can pick up a few more maneuvers in the pattern, I don't see any reason he can't do it again,
I don't see any reason right now either. Especially if the dad is going to help him. That's a big advantage,
Well, there's other boys his age that are close. So if they get some practice in and they get a little better than him, he might have some competition on his hands.
Yeah, they were talking about another kid whose name I don't remember.
It's not a gimme, man. It's not a gimme for Sam. He's got to beat the other juniors. You know, Sam was just a little bit better than the other juniors last year. So if those guys get out early and they practice and they pick up some maneuvers that Sam doesn't know, he'll get, well, I don't want to say he'll get pasted, but he won't win. You know, he's going to have to up his game a little bit this year, because I'm sure those other juniors are going to try to get better as well, you know, which is great for competition.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell him this spring, and if you want to win the Nats again, you better get better practice and figure out the rest of these maneuvers, you know.
What other maneuvers does he have to figure out?
Oh, man, square eights, outside squares, clover leaf, and hourglass.
Okay.
He's got everything else. He's got everything else down.
Yeah, the outside square actually was most frightening maneuver for me.
That's what Sam says. He doesn't want to go full down. he doesn't want to point it straight at the ground, man.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
you know, I mean, I don't know what you told Sam, but how I did it is I just did a wing over. So I was as high as I possibly could. At the top of the wing over, I went straight down and did the square up there. So I did like a square overhead, basically. And then as I got more and more confident, I just kept lowering it
right
down.
Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more super fast training with them. We're gonna take some old slow combat planes out that we don't care about, and I'm just gonna have them flying at 45 degrees, and I'm gonna go point it straight at the ground, and then give full down so you don't hit the ground, and then pull it up and go around. I'm just gonna do the bullet training, the speed train bullet training with him, and make him point one straight at the ground. And if he stuffs it in, we'll get another one out, and I'll say, pull out sooner.
I know that, Dad.
Yeah, we'll just get one out, and if he wrecks that one, we'll get another one out, and I'll be like, get your timing down, and, you know, pull out sooner. It's like a reverse wing over. Once it is it's the second part of the second part of an outside square is a reverse wing over. And that's what I got to get him in the frame of mind. Like, okay, yeah, so reverse wing over, you're coming over the top and pulling out inverted. So with a square, outside square, you're starting from 45 and going down. But right from that point, when the airplane is pointed straight at the ground, it's a reverse wing over. Just pull out. He can do reverse wing overs.
Okay.
He can do a reverse wing over, no problem. It's just you don't have that big lead time as going over the top and then coming down in a reverse wing over. It's a lot shorter lead time on an outside square. And once I tell him that way, like, look, it's an outside square. So you're going down not from straight over the top, but from 45 degrees. But when the plane's pointed at the ground, it's a reverse wing over. Just pull out. Just pull out.
My reverse wing over, to me, I'm working on it. I want to get ahead of the plane, so I'm actually looking at the plane the whole time I go over for the reverse wing over. So for me, the reverse wing over, the way I do it, I actually have less vision than when I do my outside square. When I do my outside square, I have more vision. It's just in that frame the whole time. I see it the whole time. So for me, the outside square is easier.
I look forward to that pull out. Whether it's an outside square or a reverse wing over, I like pointing a plane straight at the ground and pulling out inverted. I love that corner, that first corner. I love that. That's my favorite part, man.
Wow.
The rest of the maneuver up on.
Oh, it does. It gets the judge's attention. I'm just like, whoa, this guy can fly. You do that.
If you nail it, that first one, and the rest of it It's nothing. Choop, 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 choop.
But all your scores are going to be
Usually.
If you nail that maneuver, your scores are all going to be high. If you don't, like for example, if you do that maneuver, you get like a 35. Well, then your next maneuver, you're going to be at least 35. But if your first reverse swing over and you get like a 30, and then even though your other maneuvers are good, it's going to be hard to get them up. So nailing that reverse swing over is paramount, because then your score's going to be elevated for a while.
I think so too, because you've established that first bottom, man. You've shown like you're coming straight down. You're not scared. Boom. You pull out at 5 feet, 6 feet, whatever, and just right there. Even it happens a lot in intermediate. There's a lot of high pullouts, man, and high bottom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's some high pullouts in advance.
And I see it in advance too. And I'm just not freaking scared of bottoms, man. I am not scared of bottoms.
Yeah, it's just your combat experience. It's your combat privilege.
It's my privilege. Oh
yeah. Oh, here we go. Privilege,
Charles. Come on, man.
You're walking
it's a matter of time. Somebody gets your privilege.
You're walking in combat privilege.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Leave it to the California guy to talk about stunt privilege and combat privilege. No, it's just not being scared and not giving a shit either, man. Go big or go home, man. You know?
You guys go to contests with like 8 planes. You know, a combat guy, a stunt guy goes to a contest with 1 plane. I mean, it's a totally different attitude.
It is.
You know, so
go big or go home, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I first went flying with Darren was the first combat guy I went flying with. Darren Albert, you know Darren, right? Darren Albert. Okay. Anyways, I went flying with him, and I was like, you know, the plane burped or did something. He was still flying the stink out of it. You know, where, you know, when I hear a burp or something, I pretty much mellow out. You know, and I don't run it out of. I mean, when I'm out of fuel, I do the maneuvers, and I'm still doing level laps, turns out of gas. But, you know, combat guys, they're like, they don't care because it runs out of gas. They just land it upside down.
Yeah, it can run out straight up top of the circle. You just instinctively know what to do, which way to go to keep line tension so it doesn't lose line tension and go. That's the other thing I'm not scared of is losing line tension on an airplane. I'll fly it through that. I'll know what to do on the handle or to back up a little bit or just pull it in. You know what I mean? It doesn't scare me when I'm flying stunt planes, like you said, with a burp or a hiccup.
Right.
I'm going to keep going. If the plane is still flyable, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, that's a
Saturn point.
That guys have an advantage. That's why they do really well. I mean, Howard Rush, you know, Phil Granderson, just to name a few. And then, of course, yourself, and then Don Cantrell, or what did you say his name is? Don, the guy that won advanced. I mean,
Phil.
Combat guys I think they have a great.
Cranfield has been killing it in expert, man.
I bet.
Since he left combat. He's dedicated himself to stunt, and he builds some really kick-ass airplanes, man. And he has been showing up at a bunch of contests that I've been at and killing it in expert, man.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm waiting to see what happens in Open this year. He'd probably do. I mean, if it makes the top 10 and or top 5, that'd be awesome. No, he might. You know.
Yeah, you just have to not care about your airplanes so much, man. I know that's hard to do, but you just gotta just fly the piss out of them. I'm not saying to the point of wrecking them, but just be confident that the airplane is going to get through the maneuver that you're going to fly. And I think too many guys are scared of the ground, man. They're just scared of the ground. And doing low pullouts and getting, I mean, how do you think the expert guys do it? They know their equipment's going to work. They know their airplanes are going to fly. Their motors are going to run. they're not scared to do a 5 or 6 foot pull out with those beautiful PA ships that they have.
Yeah.
You know, the ones like Sparky and Dave Fitzgerald and Brett Buck and you know, all them top guys, they have confidence in their equipment, and they're not scared to do a 5 foot pull out with them, man. Derek, you know, you have the confidence in your equipment and your engine. I mean, yeah, there's the oh shit moments when something hiccups, but you can't fly being scared that something's going to happen to your airplane. You've got to put it through the paces and fly the maneuvers and just know that it's going to do it.
Yeah.
And then be good enough when something does fuck up that you can save the plane and not wreck the airplane.
Yeah.
But you can't be scared of coming down to 5 or 6 feet and cutting a corner. You got to be able to fly it there and go there. You got to be able to do that.
I think my problem, Mike, and I'm working on it, and that is I need to get further ahead of the plane. You know, I've been with the plane the whole time, as opposed to ahead of the plane.
Hey, don't ask me for stunt advice, Charles, because I can't tell you. I'm not.
I understand. You know what? But
I'm not scared to wreck an airplane, so
Okay.
I'm gonna take it there and try to make it go here, and then make it go there, and hope everything works out. You got to be a little fearless, I think.
Oh, I actually am pretty fearless. You know, like on the square eights, because I have great vision on the square eights. I have no problem going down and pulling out at 5 feet on square eights. And where the irony is on the reverse wing over, and I think it's just because, and that's why I'm so disappointed that my vector's gone, because I was working on it, and that is to get ahead so I could actually see the bottom like I can on the square eights. Because the guy that I fly with, he said, "Hey Charles, what's up? Your outside part of the square eights, you're pulling out at 5 feet, no problem. But your reverse wing over, you're pulling out higher." And it's because I'm with the plane and I can't see where the deck is, so I'm just guessing.
What are you doing with your feet and your body though? As it's coming over the top, are you turning your body and getting squared up for when it comes out?
No, I'm already squared up prior to it. So I come around, and then I plant my feet, and I'm going to pull up at my hip, go over my head, and then pull out at my other hip. So I don't
Where
move.
are your feet and your hips though? Your body should already be turned around though by the time you come out.
The only time I have to turn my body is when I finish the maneuver.
On the inverted side, I'm doing it across my body too, like that, pulling out, coming back around, and then I turn before I hit before the upright pull out.
Yeah, I
don't turn my body for the first turn inverted. I just come straight across, boom, and back like that.
Yeah, that's what I basically do too. I don't turn my body until I pull out on the very last pull out.
Well, I'm a lefty, so it's different for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you and Steve McBride could probably talk about that, because he's the same dilemma.
Yeah, I'm a lefty, so there are some things I have to do a little bit different.
Right. Yeah. So that
believe me, I've read all the threads.
Or counterclockwise?
I've read all the threads about body position and feet placement and which way you're facing.
Right.
But none of that shit applies to me because I'm left-handed.
Right. Exactly.
So I look at it and then think it in my head and go, okay, well, that doesn't exactly work for me. So what do I got to do being a lefty?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah. When I take off over here, and then I'll roll it until it's almost to where I'm standing and pick it up off the ground. And by the time it comes off the ground, I'm looking straight on at it.
We still got any YouTube followers, or is that all done?
We got 8 people watching.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Any questions?
No, nobody's active over there right now. Bob Bishop had to go work on somebody's machine, and the last post of any consequence was a Dynajet post at midnight 30 about a half hour ago. 12:30.
Who's this?
Gary.
Dynasty. What was that?
That was actually, let's see, 12:30 was Gary Sinclair saying good night. 12:30, Bob Bishop said, I'd like to see a Dynajet on an indoor model. I didn't even notice that.
Are you familiar with Ann's Bin, Rusty? Who's that?
Nobody. It's a channel with no content.
Okay. It said hello, guys.
Yeah, I blocked it.
And my mic keeps getting muted.
Say what?
My mic keeps getting muted.
I've been doing that because while you're working on your plane and stuff, it keeps showing you because you're making more noise than the talkers, and so it takes priority that way.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a.
Yeah, no, it's
But
not.
Charles,
I just keep muting it whenever it keeps switching to you. If you're not even, if you're not watching or anything.
Jamie, don't listen to him, man. He called me earlier and he
Charles.
said, if Jamie shows up, I'm going to mute his mic because I don't want to hear him.
Yeah. And I'm busted. Yeah, I said I was going to fuck with Jamie tonight.
Is
Charles.
that your,
yes,
your
Jamie.
combat model, James?
Yeah, that's what I was about to tell Charles.
Yes,
Make a basic full-size flight streak. Throw on a good 25 on a bladder, and then practice your bottoms. Because whenever you go to your pattern, it's like it's in slow motion.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And I average my laps on my video I took of it, and I'm averaging between and like 7.3 on 2 laps.
Charles, you got a good point. You should take that combat model, that speed limit with the ASP 25, and do reverse wingovers with it. Fly that 75-mile-an-hour combat plane and fly the stunt pattern. And then when you actually fly a stunt ship, you're going to be like, holy shit, this is easy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bet. But, I really think the key would be for me just to get ahead of the plane. I can't don't know how to explain it, but other than that, I do the outside square portion of the square 8. There's no problem. I'm at the right height because I have full vision. But on the reverse wing over, I just need to practice getting ahead of the plane. Like when I get to the very top, start to look away to see the bottom, and then I'll have the same vision that I have on the square 8s. But when I get ready to practice that, then the vector goes away. It's just like I'd like to work on that. And my friend is going to let me have an Olympic. You guys familiar with the Olympic?
Olympic, yeah.
And so I'm going to get an Olympic hopefully early next week. And then another friend's going to lend me his Olympic is made for Aero Tiger 36. And I don't have one of those.
I have 2 of those.
I don't even have a Thunder Tiger. So another friend's let me borrow his Thunder Tiger. And so I should have a good flip and fly stunt ship again where I can practice, And I will practice on those bottoms because I definitely know that's something I want to work on. But it's only in the reverse wing over where I really have a problem with bottoms. Everywhere else in the pattern, except for maybe the hourglass is maybe a little bit higher, that last corner.
My last turn's usually a little high, but that's basically my best stunt.
And it's a little round too. My last corner of the hourglass is not as sharp as it could be.
Probably because you're coming in too steep, man.
Oh yeah, my angle is. I got to work on that hourglass maneuver. Man, if you start it wrong, it is just so hard to fix it.
I read that whole thread that on the hourglass that Brett Buck talked about a whole bunch.
Yeah,
it had diagrams on.
Right.
He's right, man. If you start it too steep, you're already fucked, man. From the first corner, if you're too steep, you fucked it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, when I see it at contests, I see guys coming across the top at like 70 degrees, and really the top of the hourglass is a wing over.
Yes, right.
Yeah. If
You
it's
should be
70
coming up.
degrees, you're not going to have enough air when you come down, and you're going to fuck up your whole downline.
It should be straight over the top of your head, and then coming down. It's like this, but everybody does it like this.
Exactly. Perfect. That's
But it's
exactly right.
It's like this if you look at it. But
Yeah.
everybody's doing it like this.
Yeah, some of them are almost flying inverted coming back down.
Everyone read that thread with Brett Buck, and he showed all the diagrams. You know, you lose the first corner and angle, the whole maneuver is off after that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've also been told by judges, because I've asked, I'm like, what are you looking for? And they're looking for the intersection. That these two cross in the same place. They're not so much looking for this or that. It's the middle of it.
Okay.
So even if somebody does it wrong, like at this crazy angle, if they hit those lines and intersect in the same place, they're going to get a good score. They're not looking at the bottom and they're not looking at the top. They're like, well, nobody can see all that, you know, the bottom and the angle and the top. They look for the intersection in the sky. But technically, you know, it's like this.
Yeah, right.
It's like two tip-to-tip triangles, a right side up triangle and an upside down triangle.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're looking for exactly. I just know what a couple of judges told me.
Right.
And I watch guys even in expert that are doing this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
they're not doing this.
It's a very difficult.
They're doing this.
It's a very difficult maneuver. You know, myself personally, you know, the first corner I got to work on that first corner to get the plane more vertical, and then the second corner I need to turn it more because I have a habit of being too soft in that second corner. Then the plane's coming back behind me. Now I have almost an impossible third corner to make to go down to the fourth corner. You know what I mean?
I think most guys can't hit that second corner to bring it right over the top in a wing over.
Yeah.
And I don't think being late is the rule. I think most guys are early on that second.
Oh, absolutely.
They're early. They're way early.
Yeah.
And so they at a lower altitude. So then when they come across, it's a way shallower angle. Then
right.
It should be almost a wing over.
Right.
It's only a few degrees off of a wing over.
Exactly.
But a lot of them are coming in a lot shallower.
You know, if you take that first corner and make that first corner too sharp, then when you're going back, I mean, you have to wait an eternity to get back to
for it to come across. Yeah.
And that's where they get impatient and they cut that. And then it's that maneuver. If you don't hit that first corner right, you're in for a world of hurt. It's so hard.
The whole thread that I don't know who wrote the thread. It may have even been Brett Buck that started it, but that whole thread on the hourglass is worth a read, man.
Yeah, I read it.
There's some good information in there.
I've read it too.
It's but the thing is, it still gets back to execution. I mean, you can know how to do that maneuver, but you know, that first corner, if you're not vertical enough, I mean, it just makes that maneuver so much difficult.
Well, and Brett explains that step by step in that thread. He's like, if you botch the first one, the second one's going to be worse. The third one's going to be worse than that, and then the fourth one is really going to suffer.
I know.
Because it's a comedy of errors, man.
It is just
one mistake on top of the next.
And that's probably why they only have one of them. You know that? That's probably why there's only one hourglass. Could you imagine the second one? I mean, you botch it the first corner, botch the second corner, the third corner, the fourth corner. You'd be too messed up in your head to even attempt to do another one. Could you imagine doing two hourglasses?
No, I couldn't. But and I get why they only have one. But you know what? We should have vertical square eights, man.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Why don't we have vertical square eights?
Wow. Yeah.
Have you ever tried one?
I've never tried one.
I've never tried one either.
No,
That's
I'm just. I saw it suggested somewhere in one of the threads somewhere. Somebody's like, "Let's add some new maneuvers to the stunt pattern."
Yeah, I remember reading that too.
Yeah, vertical square A's.
Well, you know, I see guys practice outside triangles all the time, and to me that scares me. I see Dave Fitzgerald and Jose Meduso.
Especially after they finish the pattern, they do it.
When they finish the pattern, they do outside triangles.
Outside triangles.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Good idea.
Ain't no way in hell I'm going to do an outside triangle after I just successfully complete the pattern.
I know. That is crazy. But it's like, and you see some pretty nice outside triangles too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to try those next time I fly, man.
I think that it started out with they like to fly 3 loops to unwind their lines because that's about how many turns you got in your lines after the pattern. Right. But it turned into a pissing contest of who can fly the scariest damn thing after the pattern and still win.
Yeah, Jose Meduso was the first one I saw do it. He might not have been the first one, but that's the first one I ever saw do it.
Hey, Jamie, how's your baby girl doing, man?
Being a little asshole.
I haven't seen any pics of her lately on Facebook, man. You were posting a bunch there for a minute. I haven't seen any of Pip there.
Because she don't deserve
Oh, come on. Yeah, she does.
Oh man, she's already full of estrogen. It's crazy.
Are you outnumbered? You're outnumbered 2-1.
Oh yeah. And then when I got my oldest here, I'm outnumbered 3-1.
Damn, that squeaks.
Yeah.
What do you got there? What is that?
This is a Brodak Shark 402. It's for slow combat.
Oh, very cool.
So I kept the wingtips off, and I'm on P51. So you got kind of semi-scale elevator, rudder. I chopped it.
It looks good.
Just to make it like a P51, and got some stars and bars and shit to throw on it.
There you go. Nice.
And I picked up, where is it at? Right here. The other day from a guy online. It's 25. Thunder Tiger.
GP. Yeah, you're selling that, right?
Was that?
Are you selling it?
Yep. I haven't even. It's almost practically new. I think the guy I got it from, he said he only ran a few tanks in it. And I got it on impulse.
It's a good speed limit motor, man, on a bladder.
Yeah, I just got to get a Venturi made for it.
Jim Lee.
What kind of motor?
And then I got a.
It's a Thunder Tiger. Jim Lee has Venturis for that, man. You run a 250 Venturi on it. 250. Probably an LA 25 Venturi should fit that because I think they're interchangeable.
It's just the spray bar mount. It's like a Super Tiger, you see.
Oh, it's in front though.
Wow.
That's interesting. It's in front.
Oh, it's a sprinkler. Yeah, okay. Jim Lee will have a Venturi for that. I promise you.
In which I got that Thunder Tiger Pro on the street. And I was hoping when I seen him, like, oh man, it's ball bearing. I'm getting it. Bam. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But I have I just put a Venturi on it a minute ago. A 25 FP. I just put a brand new Venturi in LA 25 spray bar. So that one's going to be for slow. And I picked up this 25 LA the other day. And I didn't really need it. I just grabbed it because it was an opportunity. I might sell this one as well.
Where are you finding this stuff?
I got a honey holes.
Where? What's the honey hole, man?
RC Groups.
So what do you want for the 25?
RCgroups.com. Huh?
What do you want for the LA 25? That's what I run on my speed limit.
Throw me a number.
Huh?
Throw me a number.
No, you got to tell me what you need for it, man. Sam and I run LA 25s on our speed limit planes. I convert all that shit to speed limit combat stuff. Tell me what you got to have for it.
Yeah.
Before you post it on Stunthangar, man, or anywhere else. You are buying more engines than anybody I know, man. I follow you, man. You buy so much.
Oh yeah, in fact, I ain't got it yet. In fact, I got a mail off payment tomorrow. But I found a guy. It has at least 9 Cox engines, including a 020. Before I lie, let me look at the picture of it all, because this is just gonna blow your mind. But I'm looking at this as an investment more than anything. If I could even.
You can have them Cox engines. What do you want for that LA 25, man?
Hold on,
I'll pay.
Let me go through this right. All right, we got a brand new Super Tiger G21 46.
Nice.
We got a OS Max. It's probably a 25. It's practically new. A Baby B new in a jewel case. You got some Fox 35s, a Torpedo, some other things, a bunch of props, almost 10 049s, including 020, a bunch of parts. Them plastic back plates that you can hook up an external tank to. For the 049s, got a bunch of them. $100.
What kind of
$100?
49 back plates were they?
$100.
$100. Is that a buy now or is that a bid?
Was that?
Is that a buy now or a bid price?
Now.
Buy now for $100?
Yep. So my plans are to. Huh?
Is that on RC groups?
No, that's on Facebook.
What kind of 049 back plates did you say there were?
It was them plastic ones. You know, the ones that has the fuel. You can hook up an external tank to it, like the little small perfect tanks and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like those.
Like the old ones we call postage stamp plates.
Pretty much, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wow. That Super Tiger 46 is easily worth $100 itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I'm looking at it as an investment, because I don't need that 46. I already have one, you know, and this one has the RC carb on it. So, I mean, I don't need a Super Tiger 46. I already got one, and I mean, it's a heavy motor. I know it's got power, but I'm a LA 46 guy. You know, I don't like change. I'm gonna sell that 46, and just selling that one alone would pay for a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah. You get your money back just buying what you said. $100.
You don't need that LA 25 either, man.
No, I know. I got 2 of them. I got one on my Ringmaster, and I got another one in. So that one I just picked it up just because it was available.
Well, what's the available price to me, man?
I mean, it has the RC carb, so I mean that ain't no big deal. You know, it's your basic run of the mill 25 LA. You already know it's before.
New, used, good compression.
I need to put a glow plug on it.
50. Said 50.
Yeah,
I mean, Jamie, I have like 12 of those motors right now, because that's what we run on our speed limit combat stuff. But I'm always looking for more, you know.
Oh, trust me, I thought about you. Every time I buy a motor, or before I buy one, I'm like, if I want to sell it, who and how can I sell it? You know.
Jeffrey Riley just came in and posted. He said I could be interested in the Fox 35s.
No, stay away.
Yeah, the Fox.
Run away from the Fox 35. No.
Hey guys,
No.
it's almost 1:30. I'm going to let y'all have it and shut the YouTube feed off.
I'm gonna part my ways too. I need to work on this garage.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll close up the whole shop.
Garage in the morning.
All right, Charles.
All right. But just so you know, I'm looking for a Thunder Tiger 36 for this Olympic. So I need a Thunder Tiger 36.
Man, I got like 7 of them.
Okay, people. Thank y'all for coming. This was a great Friday night. We had a good time.
Tigers.
Say what?
I'm telling Charles, he's looking for a Thunder Tiger 36 for his Olympic. I have 2 Aero Tigers. I have 5 other Thunder Tiger 36.
Yeah, the Aero Tiger is kind of out of my price range right now. I'm trying to go to the Nats and stuff, but the Aero Tiger that is the motor for this Olympic. It was actually.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, that is the
Good
motor.
night, people.
All right, good night.